It's all good.
Okay, we are live now.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. What?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Salmon. I'm here with the lovely Natalie Harvey. Sorry, we had a few technical issues there coming live, but we are here live with you now, of course, as is tradition. Today is our drop day. Today is my birthday. I'm really excited about that. I'm getting old. I'm not going to reveal how old, but I am getting old. We are here with a bunch of friends today who are all part of our project and our teams all around the world. We're working really hard to build something really cool. We got some awesome announcements coming down the pipeline for you today during this live stream event. Make sure you follow us all around. Make sure you mint your citizen if you want to join our animated universe. And yeah, learn a bit about us on our website. Learn how long term we've been. We've been at this for 4 years as a couple and as a team, donating our time to make this happen. And we're here pretty much ready to launch today with you guys to build an animated universe that features your NFT characters animated in our expanded universe around our main show, Unicorn Dick Investigations, which is an adult kind of social satire on our world. Lots of swearing, crass humor, and awesome. Think Rick and Morty smashed with Adventure Time kind of world. And we're just awesome and stoked to be here releasing it with you today. So a little note about who we are. My name is Jeff Salmon. This is Natalie Harvey. We are the co-founders of Twitch Pixel Studios out of Vancouver, Canada. We have been around since 2017, and we have been building shows and cartoons and comic books and live action shows together for the past 10 years. We've been married for 20 years. We're really stoked to be finally showing you guys all this stuff. And we are here with a bunch of our awesome team today. And I'd just like to do a bit of a shout out to each one and let them introduce themselves to you guys, starting with the wonderful Michael Murphy, who is one of our awesome artists, an amazing musician, and one heck of a crazy YouTube guru. So, Mike, why don't you pop up and say hi to everybody and introduce yourself?
Pop me up here. Wow. Just
Yeah,
that seamless
yeah.
transition. I love Restream. So, I think, let's see. So we met when I was working for another channel and was looking for content. And I just happened to not be logged in on our channel. And I saw an ad on our own video and I'm like, this is interesting. And then I see that it's an animation. I'm like, this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's almost like fated, meant to be. And I reached out to you guys, and I found out that you were a small team. I was like, this is sounding even more perfect. Like, I love smaller teams; they're easier to work with. It's not like herding cats, or it's like herding very special cats. No in between, just either or, right? So I was like, here's what I'd like to do. I'd love to put this trailer um, on our actual channel instead of just having it as an ad. And then, man, through just a bunch of conversations on Discord, in Facebook.
I think it was
Like
Skype back then, actually.
Was it Skype? Oh
it was
man.
Skype, yeah.
So um, we hit it off. We had a lot of the same kind of values of like quality over quantity, taking the time to really produce things. I was in comedy and doing a satire channel, but I really wanted to get back into my music and my art. And Jeff allowed me to design a character for his show, and then he showed me an animatic of my character brought to life, and it really just changed everything for me. It solidified what I wanted to do, what I was interested in, and it was a pleasure to like collaborate. That was our first collaboration, I feel like.
Yeah, and like it
that.
was awesome too because I like bringing other people's ideas to life if we can. It's kind of the ethos of our studio and kind of this whole animated shared universe with our community. And you were one of the first people I kind of stepped into that with.
Well, I mean, how could I not? Right?
Right?
For those people that don't know Jeff, it's Jeff and Ned are the top quality human beings who are just always supportive. Always and always there for you too. Like if you have an idea and you're like, I don't know if I have time to blah blah blah, I'll randomly talk about something and I'll get a zip file from him. It's without warning, no context at all, and it'll be, here's the business plan for that, the show breakdown, what you could do with it, a 10-year plan. And that's Jeff. Is like he gets that shit done, and he is amazing for it. There's so many people that love to work with him, as he's organic. He's not very rigid in his approach, and I think that needs to happen, especially in the current art spheres, like to really to work with the creators and not try to turn it into something that he believes. He finds out what you want and what is best for the show, and I couldn't think of anyone better to work with, and he's really helped me evolve my own shows.
Put me on the
you know,
spot here, bud.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's your birthday and your NFT drop, so I don't know how much more of a spot you can be on.
I guess so, right? Gotta put myself here in the retrospect.
Yeah, exactly. But
Awesome.
Jeff, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and I have grown as an artist a lot thanks to you, and I've also seen you grow. Like, you didn't even really want to draw, and then I think Nat and then me kind of like, no, go ahead, do it, and then you have 5 well, you have more than 5 shows, let's be honest,
But 4 shows we're actively developing, which people can check out on twitchpixel.com.
Right. And that's just
and
all
we've
comes
done all
from
the art and everything for that. But it was you guys encouraging me to actually sit down and do it. Like, I always get the main initial sketch and character turnarounds drawn.
You
but
were doing everything for everybody else.
Yeah.
And
then Natalie takes everything, right? Blows it up.
This time when you do it for yourself, and you just are okay with receiving what you put out, now you have this, right?
Yeah.
And it's worth it, and you deserve it. And I wouldn't want to work with anybody else.
No. Thanks, Mike. See, and that's why we love Mike, because he's always been like this, so supportive of me and Nat. Like, even on the behind the scenes when we're feeling down or not good about our art, he's always been there to kind of pick us up. And that's kind of the relationship we've kind of built as a culture for our studio that we really want to bring to the forefront. And we kind of display that out into our partnerships with people too. And that brings me to our next guest here, which is Aram from Flair Finance, who has partnered with us to make this whole thing happen. So essentially, let me give you a quick rundown of what Flair Finance does. It allows traders like us who have no technical experience to set up basically a crowdfunding style campaign for our NFTs, offer payment options, refunds, and the ability to hold ourselves accountable for our buyers and supporters' peace of mind. They had this focused kind of direct ethical and moral quandary about rug pullers and everything in the space, and they wanted to build a platform to allow people to feel more comfortable investing, as well as creators to make them more legitimate, and they have helped us along the way. And Aram has done everything from contracts to smart contracts to down to our algorithm for generation of our awesome collectibles, straight to building Flair Finance, again with his wife Marush. So there's 2 husband-wife teams working on this together. So Aram, why don't you pop up and tell us a little bit about what drew you to our project and where Flair fits in on that?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the introduction. So when first we got into the NFT space, and we looked around first as a collector, as someone who's interested in the technology, see what possibilities we have using NFTs, because they enable something that was not possible before, for people to truly own something and nobody can take it away from them. And there's no need for someone like a corporation or Hollywood in your case to be in the middle of value creators and people who care about that value. So what we saw was a lot of projects, or maybe you can't even call them projects, that popped up and tried to use or take advantage of the hype around the NFTs. And that was sad to see, because like, the idea of NFTs is really good, but if people come and they expect to buy or mint an NFT and expect something in return, like a value in the future or some sort of value in the future, and if they cannot get it, then the NFT's name might be, misinterpreted by people. So what we said, okay, how can we help? How can we build something, a product or something that improves the quality of the projects and helps the true value creators, such as yourself, a real animation studio, a real team with a real talent, doing a real job. Try to help them to deliver their value to the fans, the people who care about that. So we said, okay, let's build a launchpad for NFTs, or a platform for NFTs, where value creators go there, launch their project with just a few clicks, but what they will get in return is they will establish trust with their collectors. Why? Because the payments of the mint will not go directly to the creators, but will be scrolled in the middle, and 20% of the payment, for example, goes to the creator. And the creator has enough funds to kickstart and prove that they are able to deliver the value. And after that, as they go and they prove and they build animation shorts and prove that they are doing a great job, the rest of the money is slowly released. And that means the collectors will have time to evaluate if the project is successful or not, without spending $500, $1,000 for 1, 2, 3 NFTs, and then they'll see, okay, they cannot do anything with it because the money is gone, and the project creators sometimes just leave the project. And that's kind of a semi-rug pull, because like they give you an art, but that's just it. It's just a JPEG. But
Yeah,
what happens after that?
Yeah, and when my hard-earned money goes to support a project, if it's a Kickstarter or these NFTs or whatever route you take, I expect that you guys are going to treat that with care. You're taking my hard-earned money, so you should be treating me with the respect that I deserve, which is be there for your project, be accountable, and put a face behind yourself. Because realistically, like, I wouldn't hire someone for a job at my studio without having them in for an interview. Like, if I don't know who you are, why would I just suddenly hire you on blind faith? You know, like, there needs to be that shift in the space where it kind of keeps people on the collector side safe. And I think that's what you guys are really bringing to the table. And it blows my mind how quickly aligned on all our conversations on the morality and ethics behind NFTs, the environmental impact, which is why we chose Polygon, how we both hate gas wars and want our supporters to not have to pay more than the NFT in gas, and all these cool conversations that developed to this point where we have this awesome idea with you guys.
Yeah.
So, like, I just want to do a shout out to Mare as well, who's been helping us on the social side. Mare, why don't you just tell us what you like about our project and what you're stoked about what we're doing?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'm so pumped to be here, guys. It was such a nice, exciting journey. So I guess the most important factor was uniqueness of Unicorn, and the whole concept around it. In my opinion, as Aram mentioned, so many projects just went on this hype, and they didn't really actually have a good backbone. But 2H Pixel is just planning to make it like a story, planning like a bring an animation and make memories for people that I really value. So yeah, I guess uniqueness is the most important thing.
That's awesome. And we've made a lot of good memories already in that Discord channel. I'm having a lot of fun with our community.
Yeah.
And having you guys there. So it's been awesome. How about you, Kasra? You've disappeared on us, but if you're still there, I'd love to hear what you like about our project. What kind of drew you to us? Because you were actually the first person to reach out to me about this.
I'm always behind the scenes, Jeff. So
Yeah.
It's amazing to be here with you amazing people, and it has been a fun ride, and we're gonna keep pushing on this. I just wanted to say something quick, and I think we are creating history here. In 2017, when CryptoKitties was like launched, a lot of people didn't take it seriously. I think that was like the beginning of the NFT space. It was like you can create something on the internet, and then people can come and own it. It's like a new ownership. So that was kind of started that first layer of NFTs, and like few years happened, and obviously when they're at NFT space, people are going to be, unfortunately, wrong people are going to be driven to that because there's a lot of money involved in it. And I think a lot of NFT projects at the moment, I mean, I'm even talking about high quality projects. At best, they're making very high quality JPEGs, nothing more than that. But here, something is different. I think the second layer, we're going to create something, and then people are going to be owning it. It's exactly like the best way I can put it is like people are going to be shareholders in a company, but all of them are going to have a strong stake in it. So all the unicorn detective NFT holders are going to have a stake in the success of this show. If it's kind of, I don't know, hopefully it becomes part of a Netflix show or something like that. So that to me is amazing. I really, really want to be seeing it happen in the future. So
yeah, because
really,
it's all about that crowd thing, right? Like, if we're a crowd, like, our episodes will be released to the public who don't have anything to do with NFTs for free through YouTube, Theta TV, all this stuff. And every time we release an episode, if we have NFT community grow together to promote it together, we can bring in a wider audience that has more interest in our show and blow it up to get the idea of Netflix or Amazon wanting to distribute us. Because we're not trying to do it better than Hollywood or be recreate how we're trying to find ways we can make a new space for animation in this kind of metaverse of ideas where people create animation together and still have the opportunity to work with big wigs like Netflix who want to show the main show off to get more eyes on it and grow a world with us. And I think that is kind of the idea, is that crowd mentality where the crowd owns a piece of it. So they're motivated to, and even evangelize to support it in new ways and promote us because it's in their favor to do so. And we will create all the content in the world that for you guys to promote your NFT characters so that we can all prosper together. You know, that's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
Awesome, Casserole. Thanks for coming up here. We have another person I would like to introduce, and this is kind of a big thing for us. It's an announcement kind of in a way for us. We're having what? Just hold on. I'm going to bring this up here and share the screen for a minute. So what we've got coming up is that going to let me? No, it's not going to let me. Okay. We have a buddy who's joined our cast recently as our main character, Flynn. And he is a prolific voice actor. He has been in things like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2. He's been in so much stuff. His voice is satiny, silky, deep, and amazing, and he suits Flynn so well. Let us welcome to the stage Mr. Erik Braa, up here to say hello and say hi to everybody and tell us exactly about the project, why he loves what we're doing, and how awesome he is.
I can't speak to how much awesome I am, but happy birthday,
I can.
and Nat, just by proxy being there with Jeff and his wife, I guess happy birthday to you. No, happy NFT drop day. I want to welcome anybody and everybody into Unicornitopia. I cannot wait to get some unicorn dick out there. That sounded weird.
Too late now. It's live.
Sorry, not sorry. Just for something to tease you of what might be coming is holy fart sparkles.
Nice. There's Flynn in the flesh. Look at that.
I am utterly thrilled to be a part of this. I've actually been sort of quietly pining for being a part of this, but Mike Murphy introduced me to Jeff and Nat and the entire team, and I have teased Mike a few times about wanting, hey man, you're gonna voice that thing, and then it was going to be Jeff, so I'm like, well, you can't argue with the guy that's creating it, but the more we talked, the more we were like, well, can we figure something out to become a part of the team and voice this character? And I said, well, yes, duh. Obviously, I want to be a part of this. and this is history we're freaking making. I mean, an NFT to launch an entire universe and then have shows within that? Come on. This is something groundbreaking and different. And the fact that it's keeping, all of the creators and the fans in ownership. We all have a piece of this now, which is utterly insane and amazing, and I cannot wait to work further on all this. I have been doing, acting and voiceover, and now producing and directing and other things for a while now. And I'll give my shout outs for Clarion Dawn, which, by the way, Mike Murphy is in. He plays Captain. It's out there wherever you get podcasts. It's a audio drama, about sci-fi audio drama about a guy in space, and I'll leave it at that. Maybe not the best place to leave it, but I am super excited to be a part of this, and I can't wait to hit the ground running on all of it. And I know. I, being a co-founder of 3 Pound Magician, is offering to, sort of cross teams in a way to help out with some stuff. So I'm sure Corey Hill will be involved as a, helping out with writing and things like that as well. So I think it's really going to be an amazing project. I cannot wait to get this all up and have people laughing their asses off, because I think so far I've been playing with the character quite a bit, and I think we're getting there to where we're all fully going to be in love. There's been doubt, I'm sure, on all of our sides about, do we have it quite yet? So we're just about there, and we'll be there soon. So I can't wait. I'm very super excited, and again, we are literally making history here. So, you know, if you're out there streaming and watching this stream and you want to get involved, please get involved. Know that your money is going, well, to honestly really great people, but it's also going to a project that you'll have some ownership in, which I think is just fascinating. I mean, tell me a show out there that's got this kind of thing going, and the answer is zilch, zero, nobody. So we are making future, and I'm super excited to be here and be a part of it. So, all right, I've rambled long enough.
That's right. It's been awesome working with you so far. I mean, like you said, we've gone back quite a ways. Mike and Erik have been working together for years too. Erik, you've been all over the industry. You've worked in basically every video game I've ever played. I've played as you before in things. You have your own GIF on the internet. Like, there it is.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Okay, we're doing it live. That's right.
Yeah, we're gonna.
It's been so awesome getting to know you too, because you yourself are quite a genuine human being. You're so happy and inspirational to us every time we come to you. We have a lot of our internal team trying to do voices, and Erik's been instrumental in trying to help motivate us to get them comfortable doing it, because he knows how to voice direct as well. You have all this like, especially Clarion Dawn here. I'll even put the link back up for everybody for Clarion Dawn up on the screen here for you. They did a radio show, and it's a sci-fi radio show. I listened to the whole thing in one sitting. That's right. Yeah, you nailed it. And you self-produced this with a whole team of people with donated time as well, just like us. And you executed to completion and put it out there just like us. Kind of give us a really
we finished the whole thing and never made a penny on it, but you know.
Yeah, right. But still, you put out. That's the thing, is you actually release, you execute, and I think that is the most important thing about any project going forward. Even if you're just a lowly one-off artist, all the way up to big studios, you gotta actually execute. And so, give us a quick little rundown on your experience on bringing your own project to life.
Well, I mean, I can tell you. Part of it is the group, that I've been with, 3 Pound Magician. We have some awesome members, and one of them is Corey Hill, who's a great writer, and he writes a lot of different stuff, which is really cool about him, is that he'll do anything from sci-fi to then going and doing a period piece or something, but which I guess technically sci-fi kind of is a period piece. Anyway, he's a great guy, and he is just excited to work and to do things. We have some pitch decks from some of the stuff that he's actually working on and trying to produce. So, yeah, gosh, I can't even remember where I was going with all this. I'm just so excited. Clarion was honestly, at the moment, it was kind of something from COVID and lockdown. We had a few of us that were like, look, I'm doing nothing and I'm not getting hired that much right now. Let's focus and use my time on something positive. And so we worked on Clarion, and we didn't know exactly what to think we were going to do with this thing. But with the help of a few people, obviously, we were in the trenches recording, and then, of course, all the volunteer voice acting that was given to us. We were just so grateful. Doing some editing, and then working with our editor, Frank Sladisco, who is freaking top-notch editor and sound designer. And it was super fun to bring all of this to life. And to be honest with you, we had gotten, I think, 3 episodes were pretty much in the can before we started even releasing. But then to figure out where we were going along the way, because I wanted everything to sort of be a surprise to everybody. So there was direction I gave to even Mike in the first episode that differed from how he should have been, how he is in the next episode, because things were evolving and changing as these characters were growing right there while we were doing it. It's only 8 episodes. It's about 4 hours total. If you want to just, I don't know, take it on a long drive.
Binge it.
Do it.
Binge it, baby. I wish I had figured out a way to get rid of the intro playing every time, but other than that, but yeah, it was a labor of love. It was a labor of insanity and sanity, I guess. And that to me was what made it worth it. And it was honestly a great opportunity for me to direct some great actors. Wonderful cast. I mean, everybody that's a part of it. GW's in it. God, I'm gonna forget everybody. Rashida, Heather Shepherdson is our Genya. Bliss, Lee Harshaw played voice, and so they were all friends of mine. I got them to come and do this thing for me, including sometimes during COVID having somebody come in and record, which was kind of crazy. But a lot of people did stuff from home, which was really nice. Honey Bunna as Pelton, she did everything remote as well. But yeah, it's a labor of love and something that I love doing. And we're working on the next one, which is more of a dramedy, called Wobble Eternal. That's in the process, but everybody, once COVID started getting slightly better, although maybe we're going back to a lockdown, we had the fortunate where we had everybody available and we were able to just do this so we could start pumping them out. And now everybody's so damn busy with regular work that we're like, okay, it's going to take us a little longer to put stuff out, but we're still working on stuff. And those that have asked for more Clarion, we'll work on it. We'll hopefully we'll get there. But right now, the sole focus is going to be working on with Twitch Pixel and making this the coolest Unicornitopia ever. The only one, I think.
The only one. That's right.
The only one. And Flynn. And I'm just super excited. I can't wait to hang out with Cornhole and do our thing.
That's right. Oh man, yeah, Erik, it's been great seeing you guys grow as a team together too. Me and Mike have been watching you guys closely. We've even had discussions about bringing some of your content under the Twitch Pixel umbrella to help you guys grow it.
Well, I got stuff for you to look at, baby.
Yeah, I know, it's insane. But and we're like that kind of with everybody too. We want to find our internal artists' ideas and passions, even if it's about writing something for our world and our shorts, or coming up with their own idea that we can help them grow an audience around. It's not the typical studio, and so finding you guys doing something similar where you collaborate, you bring all your ideas to the table, you pick one or two out and focus on it together. Like that's the kind of dedication and determination you need to execute properly, and that's been amazing to watch you guys do and bring your world to life.
You know what's crazy? In working with both of you, there's never really ever been an ego in it. It's always been, what we're making, and is it the best version it can be? And when we had to do retakes, it was just like so cool to just be focused on the creative side and the delivery of the product. And like it's so refreshing. Like there's a lot of ego out there, but with this crew there's so much talent and all the excuse in the world to have that ego, but it's not. It's about your creations, which is, it's like the perfect team. Like I had a blast. Like Erik, we met on my very first ever event that I ever worked at, when I did that purple sweetness thing, when you guys came up to Buddy and asked him, how do you get on the, oh man, it was so cool. That was right before the LC. Like it's crazy that I get to work with people who I wanted to, and it now has lined up. And I was so thrilled that you reached out to me to, by the way, if you don't know, Erik has mentored so many people and encouraged them to go beyond what they thought they could do. And every single person that he's touched in their lives has really excelled, especially at voice acting. Like, what you do, Erik, is not just your talent, man, but your heart is addicting, and it makes people want to stay and work with you.
Yeah, Mike, you're gonna get me all teary-eyed. Come on, man.
It's true.
You've done the
man.
same for me. I mean,
it's true.
The closing credits for Clarion Dawn are made by Mike. Like that whole song. I mean, I think the actual melody, I hummed.
That was you,
everybody. Yeah, I hummed the melody to everybody. But then we got two fantastic musicians. Mike did all of the credits music, and then there's a song that is in our audio drama that we wrote, and we actually had produced by the great Alice Walker Smith, a wonderful a musician and voice actor for that matter. He's incredible and good director as well. I've worked with him a lot, and he did the song for us and he also does a cameo. As a matter of fact, the last episode has a whole bunch of cameos by friends that were willing to do the one or two lines I asked them to do.
Yes.
Including Melissa, Sissy Jones. I mean, there's so many people on it. Christina Malizia. It's kind of ridiculous how many friends I reached out to, and they all went, "Yeah, all right, I'll do that." By the way, Sissy is also our intro announcer or whatever, our narrator. So when you listen to the first episode, and you hear the same intro for all of them, so beware of that. But I'm gonna redo that in the future. But yeah, she's our narrator, and she was doing it as a favor to me, and
she killed it. It was great.
Oh, I can't thank all of these people enough, and I just knew, when you know quality people and you just send them like, here's some words, and they send you back a file that sounds alive, that it's a real person. You know what I mean? It just that's good acting. That's good quality. I mean, I'm thrilled. It is magic. It is magic.
3 pounds of it at least.
Oh, yes. Well,
5 deep in that 3 pounds.
It's 3lbmagician.com. You can always go check us out.
Yes.
We've got a few projects we're working on, which I'm hoping maybe we'll be teaming up with Twitch Pixel more, other than just Unicorn Dick and stuff like that. So I'm super excited.
We're better. We're good for more than just Dick, man. Come on.
That's right. That's right. That's what I told her. I'm worth more than just Dick. That was inappropriate. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No. Go
That's
ahead.
what you get when you bring me into the mix.
Let's get that one more time as Flynn, real quick.
That's the humor of our show, though. Like, we're gonna go super crass. We're also gonna be super witty and satirical and intelligent and fun. Like, it really has that kind of. We wanted to build a world like anything could happen in, so that when fans help us tell stories, they can just go crazy with it, And having your voice behind a lot of this zaniness and the range you have too, that how absurd you can get, how crazy you can sound, how angry you can get. There's even moments I heard you were doing some work on the Walking Dead Telltale game series. There's some emotional moments in there where you put on a voice and a character still, but they have depth and emotion even though they're not your normal voice. And that, to me, is a keystone to a really good voice actor. And I think you nailed that out of the park. Oh,
well, thank you very much. I'm very excited. I can't say anything else. Like, I'm just I can't believe that we're sitting here. We're just this lovely little fam, and we're doing something that, honestly, as mentioned before, Aram mentioned that it's groundbreaking. This is history being made, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it, and I can't wait for all of you to be a part of it, because that's what's going to make it awesome, is when everybody has ownership and a piece of this, and they feel like, I love this, you know what I mean, and then they can hold on to it. I'm very excited.
That's awesome. Well, Erik, it's so awesome having you here with us today for our drop too. Thanks for joining us. Like, it's a big boon on our side, because you do have a bit of clout in the world because of your voice acting chops, but it's also nice being able to finally put a face behind Flynn. And like, for me and Nat, it's a big deal because I've had this in my head for 4 years. I've seen the animatic play out in my head, the whole season play out in my head for years now. I've already binge watched my own show so many times. But being able to put a voice behind it now, and I won't lie, it was a hard transition, because we had always heard me just like, oh, I'm Flynn, blah, 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 blah. Just running lines to get an idea of how it's going to be, until we found you and then started putting you behind it. And it changed everything for me, because it's like, okay, well, now we're grounded. Now we got a hard and gruff detective with emotional, pull. And he's so deep in such a stupid, absurd character. And I think you're going to bring it to life. So
yeah, well, me and Cornhole will make it fun. I can tell you that.
That's right. Yes. Love it.
Beautiful.
Oh, man.
You have toyed with it a little bit.
I've been working on it, yes.
Oh, we hung out for like 2 hours.
I mean, literally, it's like every day I start saying something, I go, wait a minute. I just start like pushing and shifting and going like, hold on, I got to make sure he's right in these moments. Jeff was very clear about, like, I really want some of the sort of cracky moments, but then he wants to be able to get all the way down into like, I can kick your butt, pal. So we're still sort of shifting, I think, to make sure we get the right tone for every little moment. But I think we're on the track. I'm feeling really good about it.
When Jeff told me that you guys had that conversation, I'm like, he's playing with that constantly.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, there'll be times my girlfriend looks at me and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because I'm just talking about, like, I'm gonna pull down some oatmeal, or and it's like, what? Why are you announcing this?
Why?
Right? And I go, because I want it. I mean,
narrating his own life.
Yes. I'm just constantly working on Flynn. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
And don't forget
All
those
right.
other guys, man.
So I actually, Mike's been reminding me and poking me to get this out here. I've been keeping it kind of secret for a while here. It's kind of a big reveal for us. If you go to twitchpixel.com, our main website, and here I'll throw the main website up on here for everyone so that everyone can get to it. So if you go to twitchpixel.com here, and you take a look at all the shows that we're creating, you'll notice that we don't just have Unicorn Dick Investigations. We have another one called Unity 1. We have Lost Hope, which we briefly touched on, that me and Natalie built. We'll talk more about these later down the road. And another show called Beat Monsters that we're developing as well. So we're making more than one show, and we want to bring them all to the NFT space and kind of grow them with our community like this. If Unicorn Detective Agency can be a proving ground that it can succeed as a community. So we're proving right now that what we're trying to say about this is that you can go check out our pitch Bibles, read them now, and see, hey, we have developed ideas that are beyond Unicorn Dig, beyond this. And we want people like Erik, Braa, and Aram, and Kasra, and Marouche to join us as we make these other projects. But there's one specific thing I want to note that is kind of the big reveal. The story of Unicorn Dick starts with the two great dragons, Oreo and Ko, the dragons who existed before time, order and chaos. And they had a child named Imaginatia. And this child was overwhelmed with her imagination. And the worlds that we live in now, our world, the world of Unicorn Dick, all spewed forth from her mind, but in such rapid succession that it started to kill her, overwhelm her, cause seizures. And her parents could do nothing but sacrifice themselves to encapsulate their young daughter in between the two hearts, slow her mind to the beat of their heart, which became the beat of our universe and the beat of the universe Unicorn Dick, and a planet formed around the hearts, making Unicornitopia to create this world that we have. But within this imaginated universe, all of our shows exist in a greater metaverse.
Yep.
And this is the first time I'm revealing this because this is kind of our commitment to you as a community who wants to join us. We're not just making Unicorn Dick Investigations. We're making a serious sci-fi animated dramedy called Unity 1 with David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake, a prolific voice actor, amazing human being, Canadian, Japanese, and U.S. resident. Like, this guy has been through the ringer and back. He made the X-Men movie, X-Men 1 and 2. He did the Watchmen movie. He's making Warrior Nun on Netflix right now. Yep. He's writing Unity 1 with me directly. We met up in Emerson and Comic-Con, have loved working with each other since. And that's our first kind of foray into the big sci-fi world. We want to push that and get that out there as another project down the road should Unicorn Dick be a proving ground to make it happen. The second one that we have is Lost Hope, which is our X-Files meets Battlestar Galactica drama comedy that's like Archer smashed with X-Files and Battlestar, I should say.
Yep.
And that one's more my passion project, and that's something I want to make entirely the way I vision it. I've already written like 3 seasons for it. We got all our character reads done for all of our shows, including Unity 1. We've got a bunch of our animatics, our storyboards that Natalie did, all the character reads Natalie did, all the artwork and everything ready to go, shot lists, script breakdowns. We're ready to produce all these shows. And then we, of course, have Beat Monsters, which is more of our kids show, but it's kind of agnostic of age and borders and language. It's all about these monsters who express storytelling through the beatboxing and the music that they make together and their weird monster noises, all to kind of tell wholesome
What's
stories.
a weird monster noise, Jeff?
You know,
there it is.
There it is. So, like, what I really wanted to emphasize is we are not just Unicorn Dick Investigations. We are Twitch Pixel Studios first and foremost. We've been doing this for 10 years before NFTs were even on our radar. We have been developing these projects to make them ready for pilot production, and we always wanted to do it as Kickstarters or crowdfunded ways to produce them with the community. It's part of our ethos at our studio to avoid things what we call at the studio Firefly syndrome. I'm talking about one show that may or may not aired out of order by a major network that got canceled for no good reason, even though the fans fucking love it. Straight to this freaking day, we want more. Yep. We don't want that to happen in our universe, in our metaverse. We want people, the fans, to have this ownership so that they want more, they make more with us directly, supporting us directly. So I really want to do that big announcement about our metaverse. There is a greater metaverse behind Unicorn Detective Agency. And it's not just our metaverse. We want to grow that metaverse of our shows into the greater expanded metaverse that's emerging through NFTs and the blockchain. And that includes games. It includes other shows. It includes integrating other NFT collectors or artists' work into our shows and our animated shorts as Easter eggs. We want to partner with people. We want this to be a collaborative space, not just for our studio and our artists and our community, but the greater NFT community as a whole and the greater audience of cartoon lovers all over the world. So that's kind of our big announcement there alongside Erik Braa. And I think, Erik, you didn't even know half of that, did you? This is all new to you, isn't it?
A lot of it is new. A lot of it is new, but I'm very excited. I mean, you and I talked about this, about all the different sort of things that we could do outside of just Unicorn Dick. And so it makes me, gosh, just giddy. I could cut glass. So I'm very excited. I can't wait to get more involved and do more with it. And you've got such a great team that I know we sort of offhandedly said, the family, but it is truly a fam, and I love it. I'm very happy, and I think everybody that's on the team here is pretty okay people, pretty good people. So I'm this is awesome.
I want to give a quick shout out to all the game industry fam that came into the chat. So shout out to the Game Industry Cocktail Hour Club. Thank you so much, Elle and Joanna and Ching Ching for showing up. Yeah, Ching Ching's in the audience, by the way. Yeah. Awesome.
She's amazing.
So many amazing people. Joanna's an amazing artist. So is Ching Ching, and the things that Ching Ching and their team are doing at Item Farm also just crazy. It is fantastic to have the quality of friendships and family.
Hey, Mike,
just
why
over
don't you,
this.
Why don't you do a quick run over of what the Item Farm is all about? I mean, we're kind of in this light discussion moment where we're going to kind of shift into more of a discussion about other projects that we like. I think Item Farm is a great one to mention. Ching Ching's here, so give him a little rundown.
Item Farm has orchards. These are 6-armed 3D printers that can use and reuse thermoplastics. So think of like plastic in the sea, using that trash to print things that third world countries need, print 3D usable arms,
3D Flynn.
3D Flynn from the sea.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, right. But their goal is super ambitious, and they're doing so well. They're in the largest mall in San Francisco right now, working with kids on helping them learn how to CAD from scratch in 30 minutes, 3 hours, right? So, and they can go from creating something 3D, and this is Ching Ching and working with those children directly so that they understand this. And they can go from making something in 3D and printing it off and having it done in the day, and just giving children like a big boost in where the world is heading. So it's absolutely amazing what they're doing, not just for the environment, but what they're doing for people. I just have a pleasure. It's a pleasure to work with them, and I'm super impressed every day with the leaps and bounds that they're making and just bootstrapping, just like the rest of us. Like it's inspiring to continue to see those successes. So yes, and Ching Ching in the audience, they just hit me up and told me that you're gonna have a birthday twin.
I know, I just saw that. Semi-removed said, "Oh my God, Jeff, my nephew's being born right now. I have a birthday twin today." Well, freaking congrats, guys. Holy shit. During our live stream, we have a birth coinciding with my birthday now. So you're gonna name him Mosley Flynn, right? That's what's gonna happen here. He's gonna be just tacked to his back with our logo, and then it gets all stretched into 4.
Make your nephew an NFT now.
Yeah, make your nephew an NFT now.
The N in nephew stands for the N in NFT.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, Semi-Removed. That is rad. Big shout out to your family. Lots of love from us up in Canada, America, down in the States with Erik and Mike. We got Ram and Marouche in Amsterdam. Casper was in the Netherlands. So we really are a global team here. So congrats from our global team.
Yeah, and
that's awesome.
Just having all of the gaming industry people here. I met Erik, my first gaming event. I was doing a channel in gaming, and I met Jeff. Just a big shout out to the gaming industry community, who are the most welcoming and loving and kind people and hardworking and badass people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. I would not want to be in any other industry.
AKA the League of Draven.
Nice! Draven in the house. League of Legends is here.
Oh man,
You love dropping that, don't you?
yes, when you can, absolutely drop it all the time. Drop it like it's hot, dude. It is.
Oh, it's just funny because people will message me and they're like, you know, I love your work and stuff, and I'm just like, well, then welcome to the League of Draven.
Yes.
Nice.
And the funny thing was the most recent time that happened, I sent that back and they were like, cool, but could I hear Jax? Imagine if I had a real weapon.
Yes, there's that story behind that kid that you did content for Jax specifically is
Oh
is
yeah,
yeah.
Joey Kid, yeah.
Is another story. Like Eric, like I know I'm just fluffing you up, bud, but like just all the genuinity in this is overwhelming, and it's hard to hold back tears. Genuinity. So the genuineness.
So now I have to hear Flynn say genuinity.
Genuinity.
Genuinity? What? That sounds like garbage. Cornhole! You ever heard of this? No, I don't know anything about it.
Oh
Do you
my
have
God.
like a cornhole voice that you just throw yourself?
Oh no, I haven't. So the funny thing is Jeff and I were talking about it, and I haven't heard him yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm like super excited to hear him, but he was like explaining what he's like, and I was like, so what is he like, Frasier? And then and he starts laughing at me, and I'm like, I don't know, sorry, I'm old. But I just saw him as like, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, it seemed like it would be really funny.
Yeah, he's the
I can't
man,
wait.
right?
I can't wait to hear them all.
You know they're bringing back Frasier too, eh?
Oh, they are. They are.
Yeah.
I have heard this. I can't wait to see what happens with that.
Right? Can you? I think we can. I'm not sure.
I will admit, for a while, that was one of the things that was like easy to like. If you were going into Netflix, you were like, I don't know what I'm gonna watch. You'd put that on and get a couple of laughs, and then go, all right, I'll go find something else. So it was like my go-to for a while. I haven't watched it in quite some time now. But yeah, I actually find it quite amusing how he's so erudite, and all his little really very first world problems, and he just gets all, and then somebody has to remind him, like his father, the very blue collar character, would be like, oh, you guys are crying about a bunch of bullshit, you know. It just it kind of, I loved it. I always loved it for that reason, that
Nice.
they would get smacked down by reality.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna shift gears a little here. Mike, you've got some Q&A questions that are posed to us regularly in our community that we want to try to touch base on to give people an understanding about what we're doing, show a little more proof of trust.
Yeah.
And I'd like to kind of go through that there and kind of give me some prompts here. What do you want to hear first?
Sure thing. So part 1. Why unicorn dick?
Yes, we get this question a lot. Especially the dick part. People are very confused about why unicorn dick though, bro.
Yeah, why
and I'm
dick?
always like, okay, let me be very blunt and straight up front. Dick is a short vernacular for detective.
Yes.
It's like Dick Tracy, even though his name actually was Dick, but Dick Tracy, detective or private detective, private dick as they're known of. So Unicorn Dick Investigations is actually the name of our titular hero's offices. Essentially, they're actually work at Unicorn Detective Agency or Unicorn Dick Investigations. They have their sign out front of their building and everything in the old broken down police precinct in the outskirts of Mythigan, the dregs of Mythigan as we call it. So what it really means is detective. So Unicorn Dick means Unicorn Detective Investigations. So a lot of people come at us and like laugh my ass off, or LMAO, what the hell is this? And it's like, yeah, Unicorn Dick, guys. Get it. It's funny. Suck it up.
It was completely by accident and not planned at all.
Yeah,
What you're
exactly.
saying.
Right?
Yes. All right, but why Polygon now? We're talking about
Polygon. Yeah, that's a good question. So we chose Polygon for a couple of reasons. I'm actually going to throw Ram up here in a second after I do my little spiel. to kind of give a little more depth of why on his side he thinks Polygon is the better choice. But for me, Polygon's the wave of the future for NFT games. It's the wave of the future for NFT options in general. The no gas fees, no gas wars, really cheap prices, more reasonable and accessible to people right now. We wanted to make it as open to our fans to support us as possible. But let's throw Ram up here. Ram, why don't you tell us a little more about why Polygon kind of hit us as the right chain for Unicorn Dig?
Yeah, definitely. So there are a couple of reasons, but I start from the most important one, which is for a certain type of project, such as games or NFTs, especially animation NFTs or game NFTs, these sorts of projects, you need a certain scale and speed and gas fees, which Polygon is providing that exactly. So Polygon is the best chain if you want fast transactions and if you want to have low gas fees. So for example, if you're transacting $2 million, $10 million per transaction, Polygon is not the chain for you. You have to do it on Ethereum because of the high security and all those things. But if you're playing games or NFTs, like these type of assets, you need to be fast. You don't really, so in terms of security is good enough for these kind of projects. That's the point. And the future Ethereum is going to be just what they call a settlement layer, which means that only really big transactions will happen there. Everything else is going to go to layer 2s and side chains such as Polygon or Optimism or Arbitrum or these kind of chains. So that's the main reason, the scalability that we need. And the second reason is, so if people, for example, want to trade, OpenSea is the most famous marketplace for people to do that. And they support Ethereum as their kind of their first and kind of most crowded chain. And then on the second, they have Polygon. They added Polygon recently because everything is slowly switching towards Polygon. So that was the second reason of being able to trade it on a large marketplace such as OpenSea. So we had options like Solana or other options, but yeah, OpenSea is a marketplace you don't want to miss. So majority of traders are there. So these kind of are two big reasons we went there. And actually, when I was reading the chat, people who experienced the people who minted our first NFTs, what they said that this was the most smooth mint experience they had in any project. Literally, when you click on the button and it shows you the gas fee is $0.01. You're just so happy. You're not stressed if you want to click the button. But in other projects, especially if there is kind of a gas war going on, sometimes it can go from like 200, 500 up to $5,000, $6,000 per mint. And the mint, like the token itself, the mint price is just, I don't know, like 400, but you're paying like 5,000 in gas fees. It's just ridiculous. Like, so these are the reasons that we chose Polygon, and people are happy about it. So that's good.
Awesome, man. Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you on all fronts. And I think that's kind of why we, like, it took me a while to wrap my head around, like, all the barriers to entry for buyers and stuff like that Polygon can present. And I had a lot of these discussions back and forth, like, do we go Ethereum? Do you want people to have to deal with gas fees, even though they're comfortable with it? I don't feel like it's an ethical or moral thing to do because they shouldn't pay 3, 4, 5 times more what they're paying for their actual product. As well as the environmental impact of the way Ethereum chain works versus Polygon with the more proof of work. And then Polygon is just kind of, it's more user friendly in a sense. And I think you're right. Those faster transactions are what NFT games are going to need because they're going to be making transactions left, right, and center. They're going to be smaller transactions. You need a layer that does that, bam, quick, so that people in their game aren't waiting 5 minutes for their approval on Etherscan or something like that. Like, it becomes a very important factor when you start thinking about how many of these are we going to have regularly, how many of these are we going to release in the future, and how are these going to integrate into other, places like Decentraland or, the Sandbox and things like that are going to require millions of transactions just to have all these people playing their game. So I think Polygon's got that layer and stability and kind of street cred now that it's been around long enough for us to commit to it wholly and say, this is the blockchain for us right now. And as we grow, we can consider other things. Maybe when Ethereum finally moves over from their proof of work, we can actually, get things a little more stable and move back to Ethereum. But for now, Polygon is seriously the best bet for us. So yeah, I hope that answers your question there, Mike.
Yeah. Well, you mean the community's question.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think we covered this a little bit earlier, but if you want to rehash, what is the story about?
Yeah, the story of Unicorn Dick. Okay, so like I said, the two great dragons who existed before time had birthed their daughter, Imaginatia, who imaginated our entire universe and the universe of Unicorn Dick and all the shows we're making. But over time, a city was founded on this heart-shaped planet. On the top of those hearts, a crust had built around them to protect them. Rivers of sugar flowed down to the hearts like lifeblood, and the city was founded on top. But in the history of the city, there became a point where the whole world started falling apart. The sugar barons kind of took over under this dark entity who's kind of controlling the city with a stranglehold on it. They started dumping their garbage into the heart of the planet, where the underbelly or the city built in underneath the big shining city in the core of the planet, next to these arteries of sugar, kind of grew and sprouted where all the poor people are and the depraved people get sent, or the ignored or forgotten of our world. And the city started building walls outside around it to keep the outskirts of Mythigan from getting in. And this elitism started happening, just like we kind of see in our current politics, in our current world. So this whole social satire built behind it of the sugar barons controlling the world with the stranglehold on the citizens of Unicornitopia that live in the outskirts in Mythigan or in the underbelly under the city. And they're all kind of struggling to survive. And Flynn starts tugging at these strings and these secrets of the city to unravel his tie to it, his family's tie to it, and the overall secret of the city that's going to change all of our citizens' lives, including the people who hold our NFTs.
That was a great elevator pitch. I haven't even heard that one yet.
That's kind of free flowing.
You got a little practice in there. You got a little prepared. I think we were talking earlier about like the preparedness of this. Like we've gone overboard on like every little aspect on it, and we're like, what are we doing? This is how we're gonna do from now on. All right, cool, fine, sounds good. So, what's the world like, Jeff? Like, the world like?
That's right. So like I said earlier with the kind of like the elevator pitch at the beginning, we're smashing like the absurdity and humor and crassness and expansiveness of shows like Rick and Morty with the cute adorableness of Adventure Time to make this depraved adult comedy world for the people who grew up loving Adventure Time, who are adults now, to the parents that watched it with their kids, to everyone who loves Rick and Morty or Archer or my personal favorite, the Venture Brothers.
Whoa! Don't get carried away there, buddy.
Nice! Rock dancing in the house. That is an amazing Patrick Warburton, bro.
Beautiful.
Oh,
we were just talking about him earlier.
I mean, once you've met perfection, come on.
Okay, give me boys. Get in here.
Boys, get in here. Good
nice. Oh my god, so good. So yeah, so our world is kind of the shining city, even the shining city of Rainbowopolis and the outskirts of Mythigan and the underbelly belief. They're all kind of covered in scuzz and scum and dirty and not well taken care of, under a lot of neglect. There's a lot of citizens who are like starving in the streets and a lot of homelessness, and it really does draw on that social satire side of things. And we wanted to throw these absurdly cute characters into that because the juxtaposition is just, there's a lot of hilarity there. There's a lot of humor that can be drawn out visually just from the visual puns. Like, I've got these two characters in a back alley. They're two characters who are like T-bone steaks with a bong, and they're getting stoned, and it's a visual pun called high stakes. We have all these visual puns. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. I'm not sure if anyone can see. It's Sickle and Hammered, where the hammer is just laughing at his buddy Sickle puking up their beer because they got hammered together. It's these kind of visual puns that will fill our world as Easter eggs that you'll see And it's kind of that depravity that I really want to soak into to Erik's performance, to the performance of my other Erik. It's funny because Erik plays Flynn and another Erik plays Cornhole. But it's all about that kind of grossness and really showing how the world has degraded over these last couple of decades in this world after the Sugar Barons took over. And
really
so there's a
the
lot of fun
ethos
stuff
of our
there to
current
kind of play
climate.
with it. Sorry, what?
It really captures the ethos of our current climate in our own societies. So
yeah, and I think that the community coming together and the citizens in Cornutopia coming together to try and change things is kind of how I look at the blockchain community in general, not just NFTs, but the whole crypto space and the blockchain space, where we're trying to wrestle back some fairness to the world. And I really want to poke fun at that right on it. Like, we have the Ethereum dock chain in our world, where it's like this evil chain that pulls gas fees from people so much that it makes them poor when they buy like groceries. There's a lot of opportunity here to have this social satire, and I can't wait to tell that story.
So this next question is about the live story time events. So I think before we start talking about how they work, what is a live story time event?
Yeah, so like we've been spouting for weeks and months, I'm sure I'm sick of hearing because I've said it so many times out loud. This is all about community first. This is a community-driven, NFT-powered animated universe that we are creating together. We are creating animated shorts around our main show that are vignettes set in our city of the citizens of Cornutopia, which are your NFT characters. And we fully animate, fully voice them with our team. And with that, you guys grow the world with us. So the storytime events are a way for you guys to engage with that storytime. So to dive deep a little more into what that means, this isn't just about the community growing or just about us as a studio growing or me and Nat as creators of this whole studio growing. It's about our internal artists growing first and foremost to me, because these are the people who have the most passion for the industry. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars getting education in animation. They should not be the ones going into a studio, doing work, and being so burnt out that they don't want to tell their own stories or have the ability to grow and learn the full production gamut because they have a 9-to-5 job and that's all they do. So we wanted to unburden that and take the limits off in our studio. So one day a week, our entire team, our whole studio, artists, animators, producers, writers, we all sit down together and take Fridays off to focus entirely on building this world of animated shorts around our main show, where your NFT characters come to life and we get to tell these shorts. But the key here is Natalie or Mike, even Aram if you wanted to, Erik if you wanted to, could come with an idea for a short, sit as showrunner, sit from script to screen, and be through the entire pipeline with our team, directing people, doing voice acting with people on a manageable bite-sized short that they can then say, hey, I created this, even though it's in the Unicorn Dick world, I created this is my creation. Watch me as an artist grow making this. And we can build an audience around them as an artist. So even if they leave our company one day, they can bring the audience with them and they'll support them in their art. Or they can stay with us and build more stories. But it gives everyone in our studio a chance to sit as a showrunner instead of just the big wigs like the main voice actors or producers or the showrunners in Hollywood who have their names on the credits. Our entire team gets a chance to have a piece of that and learn and grow their skill set and grow an audience, as well as my favorite part, they sit down with our audience in Discord, live with them to develop their animated short, taking our community's ideas. If they want to give us fan art to be featured as like posters or Easter eggs in the background with their NFT characters, and we brainstorm the short with them to kind of get this idea of what we're going to produce. And then for a week or two, we go and produce a new short for our community that's regular content coming out while we build our main show on our main production pipeline. And from that, everybody wins. We as a studio win, our community wins because it gets exposure for their characters as well as exposure for our IP, which makes their NFTs grow, as well as our internal artists get to grow in a way that no other studio has really tried to do before because they haven't had the means to, because they're kind of stuck in the technology pipeline that they've had, which works great for Hollywood, and I don't shit on it at all, but it makes it harder for them to pivot to a more artist-centric kind of studio like what we're building here. So that's what live storytime events are. That's how it works internally, how it works with our community, and how our studio is trying to change things.
Boom. So we got a whole nother batch of questions, but first off, want to thank everyone for showing up and being here. Thank you, Erik, for coming on to the show, man, and not just coming on for this show, but coming on to the show. So thank you so much again. Natalie, this was so powered by not just Jeff, but also you. And you know me, I want to show you off a little bit. I want you to speak to me. Speak to me. You say some words with your word mouth. So so Nat, you have worked so hard on this. The art that you've created.
It's a word hole for a reason.
It is a word hole for a reason. You have been so amazing at like pumping this stuff out. The backgrounds have just been jaw-dropping. Like I thought for a moment that I was looking at an unreleased Rick and Morty set.
Thank you.
Just really kicked it out of the park. Not just with the backgrounds, but all the assets that you put together have just these NFTs look amazing. These characters look amazing, and Jeff and you are the backbone, and he couldn't be more proud of you. So, talk about some of the artistic hurdles that you overcame, and what was your favorite thing to work on in this project so far?
Yeah, well, my favorite thing to work on so far. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know if I have a favorite. I really liked the characters, and I thought that was going to be my jam. And then I started working on those backgrounds. It was like, wow, I actually really love this too. I never put any effort into the backgrounds before. Like in the past 20 years, I was all about the character and the costumes and the expressions on their face. But now that I'm actually doing the backgrounds, it's like creating the world for my characters. It's like it's completing the circle and like giving my character somewhere to be and it I don't know, man. It's all thanks to Toon Boom and giving me the ability to do all that in one program, which is amazing. And
which just followed us back today. Another big shout out to Toon Boom Harmony. We've been 10 years, and they followed us today on our day on our launch.
It's crazy. Oh, it was such a great thing to like wake up to. It's amazing.
Yeah,
so backgrounds. So I don't like to use the word favorite. Like, what's your favorite color? But more so, like in terms of working on these backgrounds, as an artist, what were some of the challenges that you faced figuring out that logistically?
Yeah, well, first of all, the color theory. Not gonna lie, like I don't know what it is, but like trying to get the right colors to come together and mesh, and when all I want to do is throw in like every color of the rainbow everywhere and just make everything so crazy, like wild, and Jeff comes over, he's like, okay, we need to talk about those colors.
That's the wallpaper she chose.
I like the wallpaper.
I love it though. I love it.
Yeah, no, actually, and that's probably my biggest area of growth recently, beyond doing the backgrounds at all, is making it look pleasing to the eye with an actual proper palette. And then bringing in light and shade, because before, like I've got, you have to have a directional light that makes sense, and the shadows are where they're supposed to be. But when you're doing a whole scene, you got to do it right, because the eye knows when it's not, and it's just so much more harmonious when everything looks the way it's supposed to. And thanks to Jeff for encouraging me to learn all that, and I think I've got a pretty good handle on it. If we could bring up some of my scenes, maybe we could show.
Yeah, we actually will be in about half an hour here or so. I think we will be bringing up a bunch of these scenes and sets and stuff for Natalie to step through and talk a bit more in detail about with you guys where she got her inspiration from. I do want one big shout out to Natalie from my side of things, because we've been together for 20 years creating, and I've seen nothing but growth from her, and she has exponentially changed even over the past year what she can do. And it ties into this whole studio that wants to grow our artists. She's the first case study. She used to just be about drawing an anime character on a piece of paper. She wasn't even a digital artist. And then we started doing Lost Hope, and she had to get into digital art. So we got her Toon Boom, and she started playing in Illustrator and Photoshop. And then from there, she went to designing my characters that I drew them into full-fledged rigs. And then she went into full-on learning animation. And then she went into doing now the backgrounds and environments. And especially the NFT art, I gotta get a shout out for, is all of our NFTs come with dioramas that our characters sit on. They're not just a character with a picture and with changing stuff, but our dioramas change. And that diorama, each piece tells a story about our world. And she just sopped character and story into each. There's like little individual mini citizens that sit on the base of our characters' NFTs that have their own little story going on, and like a backdrop sign or kiosk or something that sits behind them with another little like story going on. And
so many layers,
right? So many layers. And
Yeah.
she breathed all that into it without, like, I gave her some direction, but she's taking what's in my head and expressing it in a way that I never had the artistic ability to do so. And hun, it has been a fucking pleasure doing so with you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You've
it's
done a
been
great
fun.
job there, Nat.
I just can't. I can't.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no, it's been really awesome. I'm really thankful for this project that helped propel me to where I am now.
Yeah,
for sure. I can't wait to
Yeah,
see.
you are supporting the growth of artists and humans learning, and there's a lot to support here. So it's awesome.
Not only that, but you got to consider the fact that she founded this company with me. Like this is a project with me. She's a empowered woman trying to do something in the animation space as her own individual artist. She has her own art as well, and like she has her own ideas for her own NFT projects, and like she even has her own ideas for cartoons that we want to produce as well. And she wants to go back to some of the ideas we made before, like Worlds Beyond the Grave and Four Villains and stuff like that. So it's a new space for artists and women and people of color and ethnicities, and it's about like breaking down the borders and saying, hey, we're just all artists. We all want to get better. We all want to grow. We all want to be able to pay to do this without it, breaking our banks. Let's find a way to make that happen.
Do it. Come on.
Do it.
You have to support something that makes you grow.
That's right.
There's a lot of
That's
power.
what I mean. Creation is like coming when I go to the
Get
gym.
to the Unicornotopia.
There's so much power in community. It's amazing.
It's amazing. I can't stand it.
Oh no,
there's so much power.
Now we're Christopher Watkins.
Yeah, we'll take
There's
a
our
walk
wonderful
in Unicornotopia. We're walking Unicornotopia. Look at us.
Are we walking or are we
Have you seen that building? It's beautiful.
When we have hooves, I believe we'd have hooves.
Are they gonna be bears?
Bears? You won't.
Bears.
Right?
Oh my.
You won't.
Oh my. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh
and maybe
my.
even more bears.
All right, what's up there, Mike? What's next?
We were gonna talk about the Worlds Beyond the Grave next. You brought that up, but I feel.
Why don't I do a bit of a warm up for the room again too?
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
Take it away.
So for all those who are just joining us or coming in halfway through or skipping through the video because you don't want to watch the whole thing, my name is Jeff Salmonin. I am the co-founder with my lovely wife, Natalie Harvey here. We have been creating comics and live action shows and animated shows and just writing and being creative in general for the past 20 years together. We've been working on Unicorn Dick investigations over the past 4 years of donated time with our awesome team here who have come in and given us this time free of charge, essentially, to help us make this new world for us. And we're kind of launching right now on our pre-sale, which is kind of a soft growth thing that we're building. This is a long-term project. We've got 4 other animated shows that we're working on, some with some prolific voice actors and talented writers such as David Hayter. We're working with Erik, Braa, down here on the stream with us, who's voicing Mosley Flynn from our main series, which we just announced today on our stream, and I'm really excited for. We have a lot of fun stuff coming down the line. We've got a lot of content out there we've already created. We've live streamed a lot of our work on YouTube, so we have a proven track record of actually producing this. We're not just here to say, hey, here's a new NFT project. Okay, take your money, bye. We actually want to make something with you guys long term and make it all profitable for everybody, for all of us to prosper with. So it's a community-powered, NFT-driven animated universe called Unicorn Dick Investigations, smashing of Rick and Morty with Adventure Time, making an absurd adult comedy world with lots of social satire slathered all over it. And so we want to make it with you guys. Join our Discord, find us on our socials on the screen here, and follow us around the web because we are here to really make this with you guys. So that's a little room refresh, Mike. Yeah, you can take it away now, my friend.
I will. Erik, thank you so much for coming. He has some prior engagements, but again, Erik, it's been a pleasure, man.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
That guy right there.
So stoked to have you, man.
Thank you so much for allowing me to step in and be a small part of the team, and I really appreciate it. I can't wait. Obviously, we'll be chatting. But to everybody that's watching, please get involved, man. Be a part of this. Like, when have you ever found like, oh, this might be my new favorite show, and you can own a piece of it? Like, come on, it's utter beauty. It's amazing. It's history making, and I love the fam. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
See you, man.
Love you, man. So good to have you again. And we will catch you on the flip side. I will be touched in the next couple of days. Me and you are going to do some recording on some fun Flynn stuff for some animated shorts that we have coming up with Erik. Finally voicing Flynn for you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm stoked. Erik, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming, and enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Holy fart sparkles.
Yes!
Bye, man.
See you, man.
Oh man, so good. So good. I'm so stoked to have him with us. Like, it's been a game changer for me to finally put a voice behind it.
Yeah, I know, right? So neat to hear that.
100%.
All right, Mike, what's next on our docket here today?
Oh boy. So I don't know if you wanted to go into more detail on Worlds Beyond the Grave and like you guys' history with the comics and the live action stuff. But that's next, and then how we met, which I think we covered.
Well, we'll go into more detail there, sure. Let me start off by kind of getting people to the point where we met. Let's start there, right? So me and Natalie, like I said, have been doing this for 20 years together. We are high school sweethearts, amazingly. I think a big part of the reason we stay together for so long is because we have the opportunity to create together. I hold that dear to heart, and I really appreciate that as much as I can every day, because I know not everybody gets that opportunity, and it's hard to find someone you can connect with in a creative level, yet alone find someone who's also your lover and best friend and all of that. And right out of high school, we both were in kind of what we call long-term relationships for high school, but we got out both ahead of time knowing what we didn't want out of a relationship, and we got together and we knew one cornerstone would have to be creativity. I'm a dungeon master. I play D&D. I love creating worlds. I love acting like God and smiting my own characters. And yeah, I love telling stories. And Natalie, you grew up on the East Coast of Canada drawing anime, didn't you?
Yeah, I sure did. I watched a whole lot, or I read a whole lot of Archie and Veronica comics.
Yeah.
And that was my first foray into copying images that I liked out of books. And it changed a heck of a lot from there, obviously, but that's where I started.
And then you found Sailor Moon.
Oh, yeah. Then there was Sailor Moon, and it was like, whoa, anime.
Yeah. And I think the first time I met her and went to her house, and to be absolutely straight up, I used to be like a punker kid with a mohawk and lots of piercings. Her dad was a French Canadian.
No.
Her dad was an ex-RCMP officer, French Canadian, who did not like me very much. And we snuck up into her room and hung out. And the first thing she showed me was like a stack of papers this big of just anime characters she's been drawing and all the different art and landscapes she's been doing. And we immediately connected on art, and we hung out and talked about it for hours. I'm sure her parents thought we were doing crazy things in her room, but we weren't. We were literally going through all her artwork. We're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And it kind of led us to finally moving out into our hometown, Chilliwack. Living there for a couple of years, going through some really tough times, that transition in adulthood, trying to figure who you are, who your friends really are, and all that. And we escaped Chilliwack because it wasn't great, and we moved to a town called Abbotsford, and we started making a show. Oh no, we didn't even make Worlds Beyond the Grave until we left Abbotsford.
Yeah.
We left Abbotsford and moved to Vancouver Island in Victoria. And in our second apartment there, we created our first webcomic together called Worlds Beyond the Grave, The Story of Fate. And it's about this cute, adorable little alien character that crash lands on Earth and meets this cat who gets in the way of his ship and almost crashes him, and befriends it and names it Fee for feline appropriately. And this cat and him, she and Fate go on this galactic romp across the universe, trying to stop a galactic war that his family started and trying to get over the shame of his family that brought to him, and starting their own rebellion in space. And it became this galactic sci-fi epic. I should put it back up for everyone to check out and download. It was 68 episodes as a webcomic. It made it pretty far. It ended on a cliffhanger. We want to revisit it, and we even want to make it into an animated series one day. Yeah. That's something we're working on. And that was our first foray together. And it was kind of a nice foray because I had a lot of big ideas that we had on paper. We didn't know if we could do them. Nat wasn't really comfortable doing digital art yet. She actually drew most of Worlds Beyond the Grave hand-drawn on tracing paper that we scanned and she touched up. Like, there was a lot to it. But it was awesome because it was an idea that we both liked. It was, I love aliens. She loves cats. We both love X-Files. So, aliens. And so she got to creating this world for me. And she took my ideas and made them visual. And I didn't, at this point, I wasn't directing her at all. She did everything. She did the paneling, she did the artwork, she drew the world, she drew the aliens, the characters, the fight scenes, the ship battles, everything came out of her head. And she laid it out beautifully and made it so awesome and adorable. And it was kind of a precursor to Unicorn Dick, where it was a bit more adult. It could be read by most kids, maybe like, 12-year-old and up, I'd say. But it was kind of our first step towards that. After that, we hit some hard times in life. We lost some family, we lost some friends. There was some really hard times that we had to go through. So the webcomic got put on the side. And I'm sure everyone can attest to some kind of hard time in their life where they had to put aside something they love. And it was hard. It was not fun. Once we came out the other side, though, we were both depressed and anxious, but not for the reasons of what we suffered through. We couldn't figure out why. And we eventually realized it's because we had lost our creative outlet together. We weren't making things together anymore. And then I decided to do something crazy. And I'm surprised she said yes. We spent the next 4 years living in a fully built cartoon villain set for our live action series 4 Villains. We built the set in our whole house. We took 3 of our rooms and built this insane villains lair that the 4 villains could live in. And essentially it was a show that kind of took hints from Venture Brothers and Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, which was super popular at the time, to make these villains who weren't allowed to get into the main guild for villains. And so they started their own guild for all the crackpot villains and all the crazy, anyone that they could sign on, they'd bring in. And it was our first foray into a socially grown web series. And so we actually made a website where you could come and earn points for posting videos as your villain. You could talk in character, like on a social network that's like Facebook that we built using BuddyPress on WordPress. You could earn those points and spend them to give other people props or buy skills for your villain and get all these stuff. And it was our first attempt at like ingraining our audience with an IP that we made. And I know we had a lot of fun doing it. We learned all production from start to finish, worked with some awesome teams like Skit for Brains on YouTube, whose like filmography and background in making actual live action stuff helped us grow this. We made full costumes. We had over 30 people working for 4 years making episodes together. We went to cons. That's where I first met David Hayter, and he did a promo for us you can watch on YouTube. I got the voice of Optimus Prime. I got Kevin Sorbo to do promos for us. We flew to New Zealand and did that was Lost Hope. I'll go back to that later. Another project. For 4 Villains, and we kept these people together for 4 years, making this out of our own passion and determination. That course became too much. We couldn't afford it anymore. Everything was out of our own pocket. Our crew was amazing in helping support us and financially as well. We ran a Kickstarter that didn't get too far because we were so new. And at the time, YouTube was not that big, and people weren't really doing the YouTube thing. So from that, of course, there was another project gone, and we felt kind of down, and we lost a lot of friends and family. It became a family that made this with us, and we needed a new project, but we had really lost hope. And so from there, we decided, you know what? It was a real pain in the ass running for 4 years and expensive to have our actors and our sets be in all these different places, driving people here and there, moving equipment and lights. Let's finally do what we always wanted to do, animation. And so we founded Foxbox Creative at the time, and we started on a project that kind of outlined how we were feeling at the time, called Lost Hope. The ship was called the USS Hopeful. The main character is Clara Hope, and it's all about the humanity losing hope after the gray aliens from Roswell coming back, destroying our planet, and putting us on the run on this Ark ship. The last of humanity being safeguarded by this crazy Archer-style team of misfits who had to deal with the stress and anxiety through their humor, dealing with the end of the world and being the caretakers of the last of humanity. And we have a trailer up you can watch that we reanimated recently. It's kind of an Archer smashed with Battlestar Galactica / X-Files idea. And that was our next big thing, and it got us into animation. And that kind of grew us into our next step, where we met David Hayter for a second time, grew a new show called Unity 1 we're developing with him, and now this. But at the Lost Hope phase is where we made a new friend and brought a new person into the Twitch Pixel fam, at the time Foxbox, of course. And that, of course, was Mr. Michael Murphy. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing at the time and what you were growing at the time, and kind of where you landed with us. Yeah, you're muted, bud.
Right before I get into that, I'd like to thank Flair Finance for coming out and working so right with us all the way up to the end. They're gonna get to work on the contracts and seeing everything that's working right. So just wanted to give them a quick bow out and a shout out before they have to leave.
Yeah, because it's like what, like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night there right now, maybe even later.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
It's 10:40.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah,
Alright.
thank you
Is there
so
anything you
much,
wanna
guys.
wrap
Like
up?
it was a really, yeah. I wanted to say like it was a really nice experience with you guys so far, and happy to see it take off where it deserves. You know, what we've started. I think if we continue, if you guys continue as you have done, the hard work will pay off. So yeah, thank you so much for
appreciate that.
everything.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Awesome to have you guys. Big shout out to Merrick, Castra, and Aram at Flair
Yeah.
Finance.
Thanks,
If you
guys.
want- if you want to check them out and you're interested in maybe doing some payment options and giving some security to your own NFT collectors for your NFT collection, you can reach out to me or Natalie on our server on Discord, or reach out to Aram and Castra directly on their Flair Finance Discord server. Both of us on Twitter. We're happy to connect anybody. They want to support artists as best they can. We want to support artists as best they can. So
Yep.
thanks for joining us, guys. We will
Thanks,
see
guys.
you guys all later.
Thank you. Bye. GM.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
You as well. Bye.
And now
There
it's
we
just
go.
us.
And then there were two.
It's just us now.
That's
What
right.
does that mean?
So I'll do another quick little refresher for anyone joining in right now. My name is Jeff Salmon. This is Natalie Harvey. We created Twitch Pixel Studios. We are making a community-driven, NFT-powered animated universe, and we want you guys to join us by collecting our NFT characters, or you can support us on Patreon if you're not into the NFT space. We are a long-term project developed over the last 4 years. We have another couple decades of work ahead of us. We've got more than just one show in development. We're creating our own internal metaverse that we want to plug into the bigger metaverse. Check out our trailers. Check out our animatic we released. We've got hundreds of hours of us showing our work on YouTube, working away on our animatic, working away on our character rigs, working away on all our other shows.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Shamelessly. There's no hiding the mess ups. It's all there. Just
Yep.
naked work.
Our bad jokes, our embarrassments,
Oh,
our
God,
bad
all
drawings
the
are
bad
all there.
jokes.
The nipple
Oh.
monster comes to mind that
Oh,
one time.
not the nipple monster. If people don't know what the nipple monster is, picture
That's
a
a good
chocolate
Easter egg
chip
in our live
cookie,
stream.
Yeah.
but
That's
instead
right.
of chocolate chips, it's all nipples. Don't
All
ask.
right.
It
It looks like
what
we
an
got some-
abomination.
So I want to bring up somebody after our room warm up here who have joined us. This is Lazy Droid Studios. They are joining us from I believe
Awesome.
down in LA. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello. Anyone
Hello?
there?
I'm not quite ready yet.
Maybe they're not there yet. Feel free to say hi. Maybe you're muted. But yeah, if you come up, we'd love to talk about your project with you guys a bit. They're
Yeah.
another husband-wife team making awesome animations based out of LA, doing their own thing like we've done, building their own projects, doing all their own work as well. So maybe we'll touch base with them when they get started on that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Mike, we kind of touched base on how you met us and how you got involved, but we didn't really get into what you were working on at the time. Why don't you take that away?
Well, I had let's see, I think it was year 4 of working at Gaming Wildlife, the little button in the background. Working with Ian Weaver, who was the founder and creator of that. And we would just, I wanted, working in the industry, I had frustrations like you did for animation, but I had it for gaming and how that stuff worked. So it was my outlet and Ian's outlet and the whole team to talk about their frustration by embodying these CEOs in a satirical way, to kind of just admit to the business practices and the reasons behind them. It was fun and fascinating, and I really learned a lot. I got to work with some really cool people, and that was while I was working, going to events for, at the time I believe it was Ubisoft, for Rainbow Six, and you'll hear my voice a lot on like Achievement Hunter or Rocket Jump. There's snips of me at RTX. Playing the game in front of people, also coaching these influencers through it. I just kind of fell into the role. It was super fun to work with anywhere from like Smosh to Achievement Hunter. Those people are really awesome. They treat people really well and very respectful, but also they're great creators. And I just had a pleasure working with them. But through that, I found my own self in terms of like what I wanted to do, the stuff I wanted to create. And like, as I said earlier, when we linked up, that was kind of like when I found your stuff, it was exactly what I needed to be like, you're right. Whatever fate or thing made me see this. This is what I really want to do. And so, you know, I started working on my cyberpunk musical series. I started working on my sci-fi series, Zavis, and really pushing those character turnarounds and learning a lot, just designing Lori from Unity 1. And yeah,
what was that one that I worked with you on that we did the logo reveal for with the music and the stars and the pixel ship that I made in 3D Max?
That was Reach. That was when I was doing my music.
Reach, right.
Yeah. Reach was is now my cyberpunk musical series that I was awarded a grant for at KU. And that what was interesting is when I was awarded that grant was 2019, right before, and I mean the month before everything shut down and closed down because of COVID. I was about to go into production. I had everything cast. I had all the costumes ready, and then pandemic hit. So
if only it was animated and your actors were in your computer.
I know, right? So that's gearing into that. It took rewriting for animation and designing these characters, taking away the realistic aspects and like keeping it simplistic enough, but to also deliver that cyberpunk feel was like such a crazy journey. I figured out that it was like the shapes and the edges that still illustrated what I was trying to convey, and that was with back and forth with you. Is like, this is don't make asymmetrical characters. God forbid you make anything asymmetrical. You'll hate yourself. And I was like, no, I won't. I'm gonna come back to you like a few days later. So I may or may not hate myself.
Probably sick of me. Make it more symmetrical, Mike. God damn it.
How dare you be right? So writing the music for that has been great. I'm really stoked to bring to life the city vibe of Unicorn Dick, the detective feel, like how to approach that, you know, and be able to work with you musically as well. That's something we haven't been able to do quite yet. We've worked visually, but yeah. So yeah, I was already doing what you were doing. I think probably at the same age because I'm a little bit younger than you. So it's been pretty interesting. The dynamic is almost like you get a retrospect and I get kind of like a vision of like where I'm headed. I don't know. It's kind of like if an older self went back in time and was working like, because we're the same. It's crazy. Like we say the same. People don't understand. We say the same thing at the same time. We finish each other's
sandwiches.
See, exactly it. Bye, Elle. Thank you so much for stopping by. But yeah, so I think we should go to showing your visuals, showing that your art and like the. Have we shown the trailer on the stream yet? I don't think we have.
We haven't. I don't really have that option based on how it's set up here. So if people want to go check out our trailer slash our prologue animatic, which I've now spliced together, you can check it out on our main webpage, twitchpixel.com/UDA, or the link that's up on the screen right now. Absolutely. You can check that out directly on YouTube. That'll be our prologue animatic that we just released. It's literally the opening act to our first episode of Unicorn Detective Agency, or Unicorn Dick Investigations, as we've rebranded. So that's what that is. I just also want to go back and talk a little bit about the Lost Hope experience, meeting you when we first met you, because it actually brought us closer together, not just on the front of Lost Hope being an awesome show and you guys doing awesome stuff in gaming wildlife, but through the other voice actors that we brought on board to do it, which you kind of reached out to through us and started doing work with as well, including the prolifically talented Vince Casso from Felicia Days The Guild. He plays Blades in The Guild. He's an amazing actor and plays Dawson Connor in Lost Hope. He embodies Dawson Connor, I should say, but he's an amazing voice actor who does radio shows. He did The Guild with Felicia Day. He's on Felicia Day's YouTube channel too, doing a bunch of other shows.
He's got a new show coming out next year. Definitely check him out.
Yeah, check him
he's
out.
also a great person. That I can't emphasize enough is like going back to like the quality of the creatives that we've had a pleasure of working with is like they've just been awesome.
Bar none, it's the best part of our experience so far. You know, it's this part of it. And with Vince Casso and that whole kind of web world around Felicia Day, we also managed to land an awesome voice playing Claudia Fitzsimmons. Marisha Ray from Critical Role, who you may know, Matthew Mercer created. It's a D&D live stream. They also did a bunch of movies on Kickstarter together, but Marisha came on board like Vince through reaching out on Twitter and loving what we were doing and embodied Claudia Fitzsimmons, our main LGBT character in our show, who's married to our disabled character in the show. And like, she had this energy that you couldn't get anywhere, this humor you couldn't get anywhere else. And she's also, again, like Vince, another amazing human being. Then there's another shout out I want to do to Lewis Roscoe out of New Zealand. He's another animator, actually. I met him through a bunch of animator groups that we were doing at the time that while we were working on Lost Hope. And we brought him on for the voice of Cole Fletcher, and he nailed the character, but he also brought another person to the plate, our main heroine, Clara Hope, Anna Hewlett, who's from New Zealand. She's a Kiwi herself. She's an amazing actress. She's a makeup artist. She's a fashion artist. Like, she's just amazing. And she embodied not only Clara Hope, but she brought that stern female lead to the show that kind of took all of her other characters and got them in line. And through her, she knew another actor from back in the day who's a Shakespearean trained actor, really well known for his role as Aeolus in both the Hercules and Xena shows, made by Sam Raimi, made in New Zealand, Michael Hurst, who came on board as Captain Hal Reiner, our main old school old man captain, born in the 50s, cryo-frozen, unfrozen, still kind of racist, still kind of old school, captain. And he has such gravitas, kind of like Erik Braa, such gravitas with his performance and voice that it brought us to a whole new level. And me and Natalie even flew out to New Zealand. We hung out with Lewis, Anna, and took Michael Hurst to dinner with everybody, got to know each other. We hung out on the winery island. We ended up on the winery's main newspaper front page. A picture of us all clinking our glasses together. Like, it was hilarious. And so we kind of built from there this community of awesome actors and voice actors that you ended up getting into and using for your other stuff. And it kind of really comes into that, how do we share our network of talent? How do we grow our talent skill set, like internally and externally? And how do we build audiences around each other?
Or how we nurture growth.
Yeah, how do we nurture growth?
Encourage it, and encourage it too. Is like, how many other like places would be gatekeeping at that point instead of encouraging collaboration?
Exactly. And and what's great about everyone that we like, touching back on finding good people to work with us, the big thing to me was all of these people came to us out of their own volition. They weren't like throwing lawyers in the way or agents in the way. They were just like, we love your idea, we want to see it happen. And so they came and they were there for us. And because of that, it gave me the confidence to keep reaching out to new people. And that's how we ended up meeting David Hayter and doing a promo for 4 Villains, and then writing with him now on our show Unity 1 to help produce it through him and his ideas and his vision for it too. And one thing I can always say to my artist friends, like, how do you do this? How do you pull this off? Number one, sit down and just start working. Whether you think it's going to turn out shit or not, just start working, and always ask, because the worst they can say is, fuck you, I hate you, get out of my face. Sorry, no, I mean, the worst I can say is no.
No would be fine, Jeff. No would be fine.
The worst case scenario, they essentially say no in some form. Best case scenario, you get someone who's really passionate about your project with a bit of clout who can help you get there. So, and that was our experience with 4 Villains, and that was our experience with Lost Hope, and that was our experience meeting Mike and bringing him on, and that's kind of our experience so far with.
And I would say also, people are encouraged to want to work with you when they see that you're doing the work, when you're not just bringing the idea so that someone else does it, when you're actually already on it and you're going to do it anyways, and they might as well join.
Right.
Exactly. And that's a tough thing to kind of have to go through if you're a new artist and you're a little timid or a little scared or not confident or getting that kind of self-doubt, imposter syndrome.
Yep.
You got to remember, everyone feels that. We all do. Even people in my position who are kind of middle ground, people at the beginning, people at the very top. Even I know Erik Braa, I know David Hayter, I know Michael Hurst, all these people, Marisha and Vince, they question themselves too still. It's natural part of it. You can get past it and you can make things better for yourself if you just try. You might as well,
Yeah.
What do we got here, Jeff?
All right, so I'm going to dive into some stuff with Nat here. Nat.
Actually, this is a perfect segue to say I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Oh, Natalie's got to go. She'll be back in a minute here. But what we're going to step through is I'm going to go through some of our character turnarounds, some of our art with everybody, show off what we've been working on with the actual people, show that this isn't just an idea that we're bringing with a couple of NFT pieces of art. We are ready to produce animated show. We have all of our character rigs, turnarounds, scripts, screenshots, breakdowns, storyboards, animatic, ready to go for our full first episode, voice actors cast. We are ready to execute this idea. This isn't just a profile picture NFT project. It's a long-term project where your NFTs grows with us as a community and grows with our animated series that your characters are based on and will come to life in through our animated shorts. So that expanded universe around our main show allows us to make a typical Hollywood TV show that we can sell, that hopefully we'll sell and make all your NFTs more popular. But around it, make all these animated shorts that we can release more frequently with your NFT characters that come to life fully voice acted as little vignettes of stories from around Unicornotopia, our depraved city, like Rick and Morty smashed with art, Adventure Time kind of world. So what you're actually looking at right now is Cornelius, or Cornhole, as we affectionately call him around the office. Cornelius Corningham is Mosley, Flynn's best friend. They both grew up on the mean streets of Mythican as orphans, literally living on the street, getting by the best they can. And they both had this idea of wanting to grow into something more and help change the city and make it better from their hardships they grew up through. And when they became adults, they founded Unicorn Dick Investigations to do just that, and started pulling together our main cast who are going to start telling this amazing story in this depraved social satire world. Cornhole's one of my favorites. I know, Mikey, I know you like him too. He's kind of one of your faves.
I haven't actually heard his voice either. So
yeah, right.
I want to see the interaction between the two, especially because of the dialogue that we read for fun.
Yeah.
I want to see that happen on screen.
Yeah. So to give you guys an idea here too, this is Cornhole, but this is actually our NFT working file. So if I zoom this out, you'd be like, what is happening there? Toon Boom, amazingly, is great for NFTs because I can actually set up rigs and networks like this that allow me to export assets that we create that are still usable completely in our animated series, as well as our NFTs, as well as in our animated shorts, that are all the same asset. So we create one asset, it can be used in all three places. It streamlines our pipeline and allows our small team to actually do this in a manageable way without over-promising and under-delivering. We want to make sure it's the opposite, And because of Toon Boom's network node setup, I can actually have it set up like this, and we can have all of our character rigs all at the same time in the same file. So here's actually a bunch of our characters. This is the 3D, 2D hybrid place. But as you can see, our characters are full turnaround rigs with bones. They're ready to animate. A lot of them are ready to go and have all their bones and stuff that allow you to manipulate and move the character and do all the animation with them, as well as these are the same assets that you're getting in your NFT. So we really are merging the two worlds and building this new pipeline for animation, which is where I said earlier, Hollywood, they're amazing and they have a good pipeline that makes amazing animation, but they have a harder time pivoting to new things like this, where we as a new studio can take more risk. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to invent a new space for animation to exist in this kind of weird fan collaborative expanded universe space. So not only are these full turnaround rigs, but all of them have all of the assets, of course, like I said, for our NFT characters. And this comes down to typical things you see in NFTs, like hats, mouthpieces, glasses, and all the fun kind of props and stuff. But we also did something a little further because we wanted to represent the world that you're going to watch in our show, and that's where the dioramas came in. And the dioramas actually have 4 separate pieces you can get. There's 3 separate pieces: a right back prop, a left back prop, and a front mini citizen or tiny citizen prop, which are kind of like a little story in themselves too. And we'll step through these with Nat, who's just arriving back now. And she'll kind of talk about her ideas and where she was going with the art as we show some of these off. And just to kick that off for our first one, let's jump over to Cornhole's Crazy first. First piece here we got. So as you can see, everything comes in our NFT with a base as our diorama, a back prop piece left, right, a back prop piece left, and these mini citizen pieces up front, or like little kind of vignette scenes as well. And then of course the character with all of his assets that are kind of customized over time. So Nat, you went nuts with this. You took my original idea and blew it up way past what I expected, and took our NFTs to this kind of next level that not only did you put character into our characters and breathe life into them all this time, but now you started developing the world and started making environments for the first time.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. Let's start with this guy here and tell us a little bit, because this is the first one you actually drew, isn't it?
It's my first one.
I got to do a shout out to Mike Allen, one of our other artists who couldn't be here today. He did an amazing job on some of our props. Natalie did some of the props, but we had Mike Allen doing a lot of that. Natalie focused a lot on the environment side. So why don't you discuss like your first foray here and what you did and how you designed this first kind of environment to really accent how Unicorn Date's going to look in the show.
Yeah, well, started with the platform. When I thought city, I thought brick instantly. So I went with a nice broken up brick with some grass coming out there. And of course, Unicornitopia is a gritty place. So I had to add lots of shadows and lots of grime and spots and smudges and all kinds of stuff that you would see in a real city that actually gives it that character that, you know, that characters have been here, they live here, you know, they drop things, they don't clean up after themselves. I love this little guy.
That little guy right there.
Yeah, I love adding detail and things. And if I had my way, I would probably work on these for like a week each one. And
I had to stop her.
Just saturate it with details, but that's not really the look we're going for in this. I'm going to keep all that detail, crazy, heavy stuff for my own personal project. But yeah, like I ever have time for those.
Right, personal projects. What's that?
Yeah, really. Yeah, so I got the brick. I figured a busted up old stop sign that got hit by a truck probably at some point. Somebody spray painted it with
go on there,
which
yeah.
is better than stop. Let's just go. Just go and never stop.
And you're right, like the grime and like the litter, and even the litter has a character in it, you know, like this little lint character that we built. I think it's just sugar candy with like some dirt on them, right? Living in a paper bag, you know, like it's really, and then like the can in the trash can, that's like his home. Okay, cool. The flies are even characters in the show. One of our main characters' name is Flick. He's literally a fly, the size of a fly, you know. Very Ant-Man-esque in his character, where he can beat people up even though he's tiny, you know. So yeah, and then Natalie took this a step further. I was like, okay, we got one environment that's great. I want to see Rainbowopolis. I want to see the underbelly. I want to see different scenes around the world that our NFT holders can be like, oh, my character might show up in this scene and have some commentary with some other characters and have a good time, but still have that oozing idea of like grit and grime and hardcore detective noir gritty world. And so she started building them out. And I'm going to just step through these right now to give you an idea of all the different things that she went nuts. And so as you can see, like everything is unique. Each piece is kind of unique. Each piece tells its own story about our world and about our characters, and kind of about these mini characters in the props and the diorama side too. Like a pie selling his own pies.
Can we put the platform on it, the back?
Yeah, we can drop. I should be able to drop it back. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not right now, because you know it's going to be a pain right now.
Yeah, of course.
But still, you get the idea.
We bring him to front.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll at least turn that off. Nope, it won't let me. So what I'll do is I'll disable that for now. You know, we got I love this. He's one of my favorite characters, actually.
Yeah.
He's a piñata who just came back from a real terrible birthday party with his own baseball bat. Tells you a little story about how those kids' birthday went. You know, like it's those kind of things, or like the fresh pies guy selling his own children. Like it's these kind of jokes and humor that are in there. Instead of a flower pot, it's like this candy bear, jelly bear with all these other candies sticking out. You know, like we really wanted to seep that interest into it. You know,
Yeah.
like the fucking octopus tentacle with a paper bag beer just hanging out.
Maybe it's not an octopus. Maybe it's something totally weird.
Maybe
with
it's
an
totally
octopus tentacle.
That's right. Like another thing is like the guys with their little tent city in the park. You know, the homeless people with a little Bic lighter that they're warming themselves around. These little tiny peanut guy scarf. Like there's a booze store inside of this, you know, newsstand where people can get their booze. You know, all the little characters like Booze Clues. That's right. If for a little, you know, Easter egg there for anybody who has kids. And like, you know, like this other guy, he's a newspaper with a, you know, a crossword puzzle that a Rubik's Cube is solving. Like she sopped so much character into it. A main desk for this restaurant, International House of Bran Flakes, and under it is an order pickup for little tiny dudes for their own breakfast place. You know, honk if you love geese. I didn't even read that one.
Yeah, you know that's true. I was waiting for it.
Or how about this coffee, drinking his own coffee? You know, like it's ridiculous. And this is what we're trying to build for this world, you know?
Yeah. It's so far so good on those.
So far so good. The shot glass inside of the beer drop, so it's like a drop shot, you know, the dartboard bad guy on the dartboard being pinned by darts, you know, like this guy's my favorite though, the Otter Mall Wizard. It's instead of Christmas, they celebrate Mall Wizards Day, and then that's you know,
Happy Mall Wizard Day.
The cola can that's smoking a stogie, who's his elf. You know, there's all these little characters inside trying to escape. You know, like all these little Easter eggs Nat threw in. That flamingo guy and the laser. Oh, this is one of my favorites. The laser tag popcorn. You know, like, look at this guy.
Oh, we need a shot. If we ever animate that of like the colonels shooting each other, and when they're shot with the laser, they pop.
Oh, it pops them? That's great. Yes. I love that idea. That's amazing.
Just
oh, sweet.
No.
Right? No.
Hey, Lazy Droid, you guys there?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey! Everybody, so I'm just I'm gonna take a little segue here, everybody, to bring up Lazy Droid Studios. These guys, like I said, they're an amazing other husband-wife couple doing a bunch of animation down in LA of their own design. Just like me and Natalie, they've put years and years of their life into this out of their own pocket and time, developed their own ideas, and now they're dropping their own NFT collection and starting to grow a community. We want to work with them in any capacity, and so they said they'd come on our drop and kind of give us a breakdown of their project. Welcome. Thank you for coming so much.
Thank you for having us. We're doing good. Paul's sick today, so our daughters are in preschool, so they're just like walking petri dishes, and he grew up in Detroit, so he's just like used to like colder climate, so he just like every virus the girls bring, he always gets sick, and I'm like from California, so I'm just like I've got the vitamin D just like in my blood, so I'm always, it's like one sniffle and they're just like down, so I'm like holding down the flagship for us today.
Nice.
How are you guys? Congratulations on your launch.
Thank you.
Yeah. Launch, it's my birthday.
And happy birthday, right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
what
it's been pretty good so far. We've got our community kind of up and hanging out with us in Discord. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and where else? YouTube as well right now. We've had an awesome time. We got to finally reveal that we have the voice actor Draven from League of Legends voice acting our main character Flynn. Yeah. We've got a contest up right now to win $100 worth of ETH. In fact, I'll put the link up for everybody here to try and drive some interest about us. What else? We also revealed our bigger metaverse, how all the cartoons we're making, Unity 1, Lost Hope, Beat Monsters, and Unicorn Dick are all part of a metaverse that we're creating through the imaginated universe from this baby dragon who imaginated all of us, and how that's going to plug into the major universe. We've done tons of cool reveals. Talked about Flair Finance, how they're giving better security for buyers in the NFT space and holding creators accountable. And now we're here talking to you, kind of break down what Lazy Droid's all about, and hoping to find ways that we can work together.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I'm so glad that you guys brought up Flair Finance. Like, I was just in one of the spaces earlier this morning, and they were talking about how there's just so much fraud happening right now, and how it's so hard to just like figure out who the real artists are that aren't just doing the money grabs, that aren't just going to like, you know, rug out and just leave the community just high and dry. So I love what Flair Finance is doing and the exposure that you guys are bringing to that, because as much as, we are saying Web3 is about transparency, it's really also about like building like true trust, and because it's like decentralized, and because it's like it really is like the Wild West right now. It does take the artists to really take care of their communities in this way of just like doing what you can to make sure that they understand that what they're buying into is something that's legitimate, that isn't going to screw them over in the end. So I love what you guys are doing and what you guys stand for, and just like, you know, how we're on the forefront of like revolutionizing the animation industry, and like how you guys are doing the shorts to like go in parallel with the main show. Like it's just really amazing to give creators that platform to be able to take anywhere they go outside of working with you guys. So
yeah,
I love it all.
And I totally agree. That whole rug pulling space is really difficult. It's all about building that proof of trust over time. Like I keep spouting over and over again, we have a YouTube channel full of us for 40 hours, hundreds of hours even, of us actually working on the show, you know? And I feel like there's something to be said about the decentralized and anonymity in the space, but I feel like it should be more on the buyer side. I think creators should hold themselves accountable, reveal who they are, because it is about long-term proof of trust. You can't ask for someone's money, blind trust that you're going to do something good with it. You need to me, prove to me that you are here to stay. You're here to grow my investment in you, and you want to do more with it, you know? And I think that's kind of what can segue nicely into what you guys are actually building.
Yeah. So, you know, Paul, like you, he's an animator. He's been in the industry for over 15 years, and he went to Lucasfilm. You know, he thought that his dream job was to be an animator and to work on the big blockbusters and, you know, get the notoriety and, you know, be one of the big guys. But, you know, once he got to Lucasfilm, he was just like, oh, right, I'm just another brick in the wall. Like, there's no, when are my stories going to be told? Because there's just so many people ahead of him that he just felt like he needed just to come back to Los Angeles and start his own thing. So we moved back to Los Angeles. For the past few years, he's been working on developing concept trailers for 4 different IPs. And now we're working on a first look deal with a major streaming network that is finalizing in January. And so like in the meantime, I was like, well, why don't we, you know, at the NFT, like the buzzword has, you know, it's like the word of the year, you know, and everyone's like, this is the future, it's for artists. And I'm like, Paul, why don't you kind of just dig in and just kind of see what that's about? And he's like, you know, drowning out like at his desk, like, yeah, let me just like put on this new hat and just like figure this out. And I'm like, you know what, let me just kind of like go around and just kind of like poke around, because I work on LinkedIn and just like creating relationships and partnerships on there. So I'm like, well, let me just like poke around to see if we can just figure this out a little bit. So I kind of started like typing in like digital assets, like this digital asset collector, and just kind of like figuring it all out. And really quickly, I got a lot of great feedback from like people with deep pockets about like what we were doing. And so I was like, oh, there must this to me, that was like a yes. Like, why don't I just keep kind of like going down the rabbit hole? So we've now talked to like 3 or 4. I'm like going all over the place. Let me just like go back a second. So then, well, like our big establishment was like, we've gotten a hold of like, you know, 4 or 5 whales that on LinkedIn that are interested in like investing in the thing. But you know, it's all about the community building, and it's so hard because like, you know, we're doxxed, right? It's like we're not like, we're real people, you can see our faces on LinkedIn, but it's like they want to, it's like, right now it's like also like building the proof of your concept and building the community. And it's like, well, it sucks because like as an artist, and how this goes back to like what we were talking about, is like you've seen his work. Like if you've seen the openings, the reveal shot of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, like Paul built that whole, that's like his shot. He got an internal award at Lucasfilm for it. And it's like, you've seen his work, but he has like no community, right? So it's like, so now that's what we're doing, is we're building the community to launch the first IP, Birdie, in January. It's going to be a 3-tier drop, and we're going to sell the concept trailer as a 1 of 1 through an auction, and then 2 limited editions, 1 GIF and 1 JPEG for other people to get into the project. But essentially, it's a risk, right? Like it's a new project, it's a new artist, but it's got some partnerships behind it that are really prominent in like the metaverse building. And so the utility, it's going to be a lot that we can't like necessarily talk about right now, but we're just.
What's
I'm all
that
over the place.
like?
It's
Right?
it's like that's one of the hardest things on spaces where they're like, well, tell us, and it's like, well, do you want me to tell you, or am I supposed to tease you? Like it's like everything's like you have to be like super transparent or super secretive. So it's like learning how to navigate that is has been the biggest challenge for sure.
What we found is it's not even navigation anymore. It's being honest and upfront. It's like
Genuine.
For us, we don't really have anything to hide. We're pretty out there in terms of like, and for your husband, his work has been seen. It's traceable. What we discuss is what's called a proof of trust, and it's your proof that you are who you say you are. You have a track record. You have something on the line. If something goes awry, you have accountability that will follow you.
And you execute.
And yeah, well,
Right.
obviously, like assuming all of the good things are happening. Like if you're looking at it as an investor and you're like, I don't like I need to go through 5 different walls to even figure out kind of maybe who you are or proof of it. Like there's people that hop on currently on promoters, but also as creators who, I think you said earlier, are doing it just for the cash, and they aren't like, they don't really care about the art. It's insulting to artists who are just seeing the space and they reap the bad things that have the bad connotations that happen, because when the rug pullers leave, all that's left are the artists trying to do something. So
right, it's like reestablishing the trust, and then us having to go above and beyond to make sure that people understand that we're not part of the problem.
And I think if you're transparent, kind of like what Jeff and Nat and I have been doing in terms of streaming the process, streaming you can look through and see all of our mistakes, as we said earlier, like all of our really bad jokes, all of our horrible ideas that we went way too hard in and had no.
The nipple monster, 5 deep.
Oh my God, the nipple monster. Okay, we have to actually put him in now. But seeing his work and like seeing the trailer, it was the I can't remember the name of the trailer. I watched the Sensei and the robot.
That's the Blood Lotus.
Yes, the Blood Lotus. So I love that. I love the character design specifically, especially the robot's arms. And how they were magnetic and they flew apart and came back together. I thought that was super creative and unique. You don't see that a lot. And I was super stoked that Jeff said, "Hey, yeah, we're talking with these people." So I checked you out. I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." I hope that we jive, because there's a lot that could be learned from both sides of that. And you seem like, this is my first time meeting you guys, seem like super genuine. I love the giant Cintiq in the background. Like it's a whole vibe.
Yeah, that's Paul's desk. We share an office, but when I usually do interviews in another room, but since he's sick, and I'm like, I'm going to use the office today. Like that's exciting.
Awesome.
So yeah, I'm just throwing up lazydroidstudios.com up on the video here for everyone to see, so you guys can go check them out on their page there. Lazy Droid Studios has access to all their social streams, their Discord, their Twitter, and all that stuff. So why don't you tell us as much as you can about Birdie?
Oh, so okay. So Birdie is, so if you guys do you guys know about H.P. Lovecraft mythology, like the Cthulhu mythology?
Okay. Cthulhu, hello.
So,
have you seen us?
Paul's. I know. I'm not this person. I am like reality TV, like brain dead at the television. Like I've never been like an animated type of person. Like one of his most exciting things. Outcomes of this is that I have to like learn all this stuff, and he's like, that's like what I'm mostly excited about. I was like, now we get to like talk about this stuff. And so for me, it's like there always has to like that's why I like documentary filmmaking, or it's like if it's a topic that I'm interested in, like, oh, I learned something that like I know or don't usually watch it for like entertainment. And so now I'm like, oh, I have to, like, this is research, so now I can like get into it. So basically, Birdie is a 23-year-old vigilante. Her mom died when she was a baby because Katoga and Cathanda, the villain and the Cathanda, the elder god that is compassionate for humans, they're basically in a cosmic war. And so they come back as human form to summon Cthulhu through Birdie to kill mankind. That's what Katoga's like whole mission is. So she's like, Katoga's on this mission to like kill everybody through Birdie. Katoga in the story is a not a politician, like a what are they called? Like a lobbyist. She's like this female lobbyist that uses politics to kind of get her way through life. So Birdie was born in the Salton Sea in California, and while they were summoning Cthulhu, Cathanda, who is her dad's best friend and also her acrobatic teacher, they intercept the summons and basically make Birdie like half human, half elder god. And she doesn't know it yet. So like as she's growing up, she starts realizing like, like at school, like she just runs faster, or like she just jumps higher, or just like these little like things of like there's something special about her, but she doesn't really actually know that until later in life. And so like when she's around 15, her dad gets killed by police brutality. This is a woman of color, so there's like that undercurrent of like the social injustices of the world. He gets killed by police brutality, and so like as a teenager, and like she just has like a lot of rage. She has like, but that rage as a teenager and when she becomes a young adult, it becomes more of like being eccentric. So like, if you've ever seen people, like the most animated people are also like the most heartbroken people. Like she's that type of person. Like she's very magnetic, but it's also because like she has a lot of pain, anger, and rage. Her Cathanda, who yeah, me too. I'm like, this is like my story. So now I'm like interested in Birdie, like this is like this is my teenage life. And so as she's growing up, she accidentally kills somebody, and it's like her powers, she has to like really laser focus in. Like she can't just like think about killing someone and they die. She has to like really connect the heartache with the real-time issue to like actually make the connection and like kill. So she does that, and at first she's like nervous about it, but then she like starts kind of like feeling really empowered by it. And so she uses that to go on a quest, like because it's almost like it's like your first rush. Like if you've ever done like a drug, it's like that first rush of like the drug, you're just like, wow, that was like amazing, I want to do that again. And so it's kind of like that, where she kind of gets addicted to it, but instead of it killing good people, she goes out and like rights the wrongs of society. So she's really into going out and killing rapists, child molesters, just any abusers, like things like that. And so
as you should.
Yeah, right. So it's like, she gets like throughout the journey, she gets kind of stuck in this time where she's just like, well, am I doing, because she's still human, right? Like if you do something wrong, you still feel it, even though you can justify it, every which way. There's still a level of like, oh crap, like I just killed someone, like you still feel you still feel bad, right? Yeah. So like it starts weighing on her mental health, and so she goes through this journey of like, am I doing the right thing, or am I actually becoming what I set out to kill? And that's the story that we follow. Nice. But like in a very like street vibe, like she's a Cirque du Soleil dancer for trade, and then she's a killer at night. So she's got like this gay Mexican eccentric best friend who's like the comedic relief, and she's got like this like band fit of misfits that are like fun, punky street, like urban LA kind of like graffiti art vibe. So that's kind of like the undercurrent. And then the artistic style is like a little bit like Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man stuff. So
nice.
Really yeah, that sounds amazing.
Sounds awesome. I love, like, I'm always, because I'm a storyteller first and foremost, and that's more the artistic side. So hearing your story like presented from you with the passion behind it, especially when you identify with a character who's been through these hardships. I'm also a big fan of that whole damaged hero kind of story. I mean, even Flynn, as absurd as he is as a unicorn character in our world, he grew up as an orphan on the streets and with Cornelius, and together they had to survive. And that damage comes through as he gets older. And how does he deal with that damage? How does he move forward from that damage? And a lot of those questions get asked. And if you're not asking those questions, I kind of feel like that's where characters can fall flat, because they don't have that depth that people are yearning for. Even if they can't identify with it, they can at least feel for the character based on an experience they've had in life that can kind of play into that. So I love what you guys are doing with there.
Right. And that's actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. Like, one of the big things for us too is like, even though I'm 100% Mexican, I still haven't, I can still get away from like not getting beaten up by the cops, you know, like I've never had a gun pulled out on me. So I can't speak to that. And Paul hasn't either. And, you know, quite frankly, like the reason why he wants a woman of color as his lead is because he, as a privileged white man in America, has really benefited from the system, and this is his way of just like providing a platform for the people who have stories to tell, but maybe they don't get the door open the way that he gets it. So part of our plan is to have like a lot of women of color or men of color to be writers. We're looking for a woman of color showrunner that's animation, so she's going to be like a unicorn. We're going to have to find the unicorn woman to like show run the show, because we really want to
there was someone earlier in our audience, L, who actually fits a lot of those qualifications.
Oh, we need to get in contact with her.
No problem. We'll set that up.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, that's important to us, because what we feel like, there's a lot of emotions that are cross-cultural, but there's a lot of the social injustices that needs to be told, and we want like real life experience. Like I had become friends with some, like, I don't know, like from like a networking thing, and it was like this Black guy who I didn't know in person, but we were just friends on Facebook. And this was like, you know, back in 2020 when the George Floyd things were going on, and he asked like to his Facebook friends, like, hey Black gentleman, when was the first time how old are you when the first time a police pulled their gun out at you? Like the first time. And there were like hundreds of comments, and it was like age, like it was like the first one is at 10, and then at 16, 21. I mean, it's like not just one time. I mean, not just once. It's like, it's their lives, you know, and like none of us know what that feels like. And we like, so can you imagine like that level of truth being told in that story? Like that's really important to us.
Oh,
it's super powerful.
Yeah, wow.
I love that your integrity behind doing that too. Like the part of our Lost Hope play, our first animated series we developed, was trying to make sure we had inclusion of strong female characters, strong Black characters, strong disabled characters, LGBT representation. And like that to me is like, there's all these labels for it, you know, person of color, LGBTQ, you know, female empowerment, but to me, we're all people. And we need to start, I think it's almost better for us to start stepping aside from this discerning that we're from these different pockets and start saying, how are we the human race or the Terran race? Or we need to find a unifying reason, because at the end of the day, underneath the flesh, underneath the skin, my neurons, my body, my muscles, everything is the same as the next person, you know? It's about your integrity as a human being, the respect you have for others, and your morality and ethics. And to me, those three things are what this space can do for us and people like you, to tell stories about where the wrongdoings in those things are. Mm-hmm. And I have to commend you guys on taking that approach, because that is huge and important. And I am a privileged white man. I do not have any illusions about that. And I am happy to say that I would rather support a woman or a person of color, or someone even just like a homeless person even at this point, rather than like my friends and family who I know have it well off, who are okay and can get by on their own. And to me, if I have a platform to voice my concerns around this, point the finger at it in satirical, fun ways, it helps open that dialogue. It helps people be able to speak up more about it. And that is, I think, where you guys are kind of headed with this project. And actually, it seems like almost all your projects.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you know, as being privileged, like a part of that is to listen, right? Like in order for us to all be at the same level playing field is to like really listen to everybody, so
Actively
we all
listen.
can, so we can actually understand and not just be like, I have a person of color who's my friend, so I get it. And it's like, well, no, like you actually have to listen and not reply. Just like
I mean,
listen.
one of our main artists, Michael Allen, who I've known for years, he's an amazing human being, and he came from the States and moved to Canada. He ended up having a kid here, an awesome kid named Riker, and he's raising him on his own as a single dad in Canada. But he's like, I could never do this if I was in the States. I couldn't be the single dad with my kid in public because I might get shot. He might get shot. He has a bullet stuck in him, and he wasn't in gangs. He went to art school. He was a nerd, and he still got shot. Like, what does that say about what's going on in the world right now? When an artist who has no connections to gang and nothing just goes to the corner store and gets shot. Like, what are you thinking, you know?
Right.
And I wouldn't know that if I didn't have that conversation with him. And I wouldn't feel the depth of white guilt that I should feel from unless I did hear that story. So that kudos to you guys.
Right. Well, thank you. And we're so excited for everything that you guys are doing, and just to continue this conversation and to really just like flip the industry on its head. I feel like that's the most exciting part.
Yeah, and I think we're on our way to doing that. I think you guys are coming at it from one angle, we're coming up from a different angle, and somewhere in that middle ground, we're going to start seeing like Disney and Bardell and Bento Box and all these other companies starting to do the same thing and starting to take the groundwork we're laying now as their kind of incentive to jump into the space, because we kind of tested the waters for them. And I think we get to be that forefront. We get to set the status quo. So let's make the status quo's ethics and morality bar way up here to start, you know?
Yeah. Right. And I feel like if we also all just like as a community came to the consensus that Web3 is about the artist and about the collector. So if any big name wants to get behind, it wants to enter the space, they have to back the little guys, because that's what Web3 is. So I feel like if we were all just like saying it at the same time, they would understand that in order for you to break the, and I feel like they kind of are, right? Like Grimes, for instance, like she dropped her NFTs, they made a bunch of money, cash grabbed it, right? Made a bunch of money and then left. There was no roadmap for her stuff. She just sold it for higher because she's a celebrity, but now like her floor has tanked, right? It's tanked. Like, so it's just like, it's not cool, right? Like, it's not cool to do that. Even if you are a celebrity, it's almost worse, right? And that's why
it community.
Right. And it's also like, it almost like gives a confirmation that Web3 is necessary because of things like that. Because it's not like just because like you don't get to tell us what's cool. We get to tell you as an artist and as collectors.
Yeah. And I think that's why that like you said, where you're like, I think it's cool you guys are doing this animated universe of shorts next to our main show. That idea came in that spirit where we need a place for the collectors to be a part of the world and feel ownership of that world in a way that big companies won't. Where bigger companies like Netflix and Amazon, they make their show, then they put it out and say, you like this, watch from the sidelines and cheer us on from the sidelines. And there's nothing wrong with that. I still do that. I love all my favorite shows, and I will forever do that and support them, even if they are a big studio. But I like the idea of Web 3.0 opening access to fans to not be sidelined and watching from the outside, but be an integrated part on the inside in whatever shape or form that ends up coming, whether it's the metaverse like Ready Player One, or our animated short universe where they write shows with us, or in your world where these people can come and have a place to voice their concerns and issues with their culture and how they're being treated in the world. These are all, to me, still a form of utility to NFTs that are kind of more of a in the ether utility, not like a programmatic utility, that I think is so important to the NFT community / culture of side of things, you know?
Right. Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well, it's been freaking great having you here. I know you have another meeting to catch pretty soon.
Yeah.
I'm just going to again throw up the links here for you guys to check out. Anyone who's watching, this is lazydroidstudios.com. That's how you can check out their kind of main work and what they're doing, their main body of work and where they've come.
And also try Birdie, the Birdie NFT.art. Birdie NFT.art. That's our NFT drop.
Oh, Birdie NFT.art?
Yeah.
BIRDIE, right?
Yeah.
And then NFT.art, all one word?
Yeah. Yes. .art. Like the dot, like instead of .com.
So let's throw the Birdie NFT page, bam, and we'll throw that up for everyone to take a look at too. Is that the right address there?
Yep. Yes, it is.
Check out the site. It's awesome.
That's right. Birdie NFT art. So everybody, this is Lazy Droid Studios. They are another husband-wife team, like I said, down from the States in LA, doing very similar thing to us, trying to change and shake up the animation industry. Not necessarily fight the traditional industries. They are a standard. We love what they do, but at the same time, we want to create a new space for animation. They want to create a new space for animation. We want to tell our own stories, new original ideas, not reboots and rehashes and everything, you know. And they've got the talent, they've got the track record as well as us. And so it's great been talking to you. Great. I'm so glad we connected. And I can't wait to start building stuff with you guys as we move forward.
Thank you, Jeff and Natalie, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye. Awesome. So that's Lazy Droid Studios, everybody. I highly suggest checking out their work. Like, their artwork is phenomenal. And I cannot wait to see what they're trying to change in the industry, just like us. We've had a lot of long, hard conversations about how we were all treated in the industry, how the industry has ways to like kind of hold people's own ideas back, or have so many people in positions that are supposed to be open for other people to grow into, but people who have those positions never leave, which means there's no room for new people. People working on contracts that lose their job after 6 months and don't have guaranteed work. Like, we're trying to change things a little. I don't think there's necessarily anything massively wrong with the industry. There's things that can be fixed and improved, but we want to make this new space, this new world, and a new way of doing things with Twitch Pixel Studios. And it sounds like Lazy Droid is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's stoked for them. Yeah, especially after hearing what you said about Birdie. I'm like, wow, I really cannot wait to watch that and support that.
Yeah.
Buy an NFT, become a part of their community.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. She said they're launching January, right? I caught that. Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah. Sounds about right.
I'd say follow them on Twitter, follow their websites around and all that stuff. So. Yeah, so kind of I'm going to jump back over to our screen here. And so what we were going through is all the different NFT art that Natalie was developing. I'm not going to go through all of it because there's literally hundreds of pieces because there are all these different rarities and stuff like that. But yeah, as you can see, there's a few more of these backgrounds I wanted to show off, like the Halloween one, which is awesome. I love this one right here. The vampire dressed like a pumpkin and a pumpkin dressed like a vampire. Running away from this awesome like Cthulhu portal monster who's just trying to give them candy.
Wait!
Or a sandwich. Yeah, he's got a sandwich, Nat.
Sandwich.
On Marble Rye.
On Marble Rye, no less. And then the Medusa character, you know, like there's so much life. She even drew this little spider character with the Polygon logo on it. You know, so yeah, Natalie really did a lot of work bringing not only the characters to life, but the world to life to kind of show this depraved, gross, overgrown, and socially collapsing world. And it really came through in all of our art here. I think that's the last one. There's just all the different pieces that we've drawn for your characters to kind of look at.
Spoiler alert.
And then of course we have our main characters down here as well. We got Dawn Flynn, we got Fiona Flynn, we got Artemis Lanceclop, we've got Dirt Bentley, we've got Cornhole, and we've got Pocket Wash Knight, and of course one of Nat's favorites, Flick.
Yeah, this is alt color Flick.
Yeah, this is alt color Flick. These aren't their original colors. These are some of our NFT colors. Some of them are their originals. But yeah, so there's that. So like I said, a lot of this work has been done. Like I said, these characters are full turnarounds with all their bones and their rigs ready to animate. They're all built into a file that lets us spit out our NFTs and make our animated shorts and make our main show all from the same file work. That's part of our pipeline that we baked in to ensure that we can actually deliver on what we're saying. So you guys know, we chose a simple style. We built all the artwork ahead of time before we presented this as a project to you guys because we wanted to be not only accountable for our project, but we wanted to show that this is a long-term project, 4 years in development, donated time from our awesome team like Nat, Mike, Aram, Casa, Marouche, like everyone. And we were stoked to finally kind of be launching here. So yeah, what's next on our docket there? I think I do have some more environments I can show off, but there was some discussion stuff we wanted to talk about, didn't we? Hey, Mike?
Here, I'm looking right now. No, showcase the rigs, worn up, community concept growth, next drops, plans for the future. We kind of did out of order here because we did industry talk, NFTs, and small contracts, our contract, etc. And then a Q&A with the audience. I think we're on Q&A with the audience because we've discussed our community, or the industry talk.
For community discussion concept, that's where we're at right there. Yeah. Community concept growth, next drop plans, and the future. I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So for that question, I'm gonna leave my screen out there. Let's throw it to something fucking awesome. A good version of Cornelius. Yeah. There you go. How about I love Scuba Cat, the kitten. Scuba Kitten's so
Scuba
cute.
Cat.
That's what I named the layer.
Yeah. So kind of the idea behind our community growth, our live storytime events, which I covered earlier, which is where you guys get to actually talk with our team members who sit as showrunners in these animate shorts. Our own internal team gets to animate themselves start to finish with our whole team. So they learn and grow as artists and grow as team members. But the community side is kind of the more fun side, where we take your guys' ideas, your fan art, your jokes, your skit ideas, your dialogue ideas. We sit live with you in Discord. If you're an NFT holder, you're invited to the events, and you can help us develop these animated shorts that our team then develops from script to screen so they can learn the process. And with that comes a lot of fun stuff like Easter eggs, where you can draw up a picture or a poster or your own character or even your own NFT art that you want featured in our show in the background, on the wall, on a poster, in one of our characters' NFT collections that he has in like an actual scene. All these kind of cool places, newspaper clippings. But we also want to involve our fans in opportunities that are less tangible than that, in the sense that we want to do giveaways and contests specifically for NFT community to voice a character, or have Natalie draw a character of your design or of you and feature it in our show as kind of a one-off thing. Executive producer credits for people who want to invest by buying a bunch of our NFTs and maybe get a little extra perk for being an executive producer, for being such a big supporter, and a ton of other options. And then on the flip side, for our community, we wanted to make it accessible to more than just NFT collectors. So we launched our Patreon last week. Patreon costs you $4 USD a month to support us. For a cup of coffee a month, you can help us grow. You get access to our posts and our early access stuff. You can be a part of our Discord community. You can get access to the behind the scenes Discord channels where our team actually works every day, sharing our development progress and all that kind of stuff, as well as get creator updates from me and Net daily. Well, not daily yet, but soon to be daily, as we're developing in progress, doing progress reports. All of that done through our Patreon, which is all accessible to all our NFT collectors as well. So we wanted to really make sure that we were covering both angles of not just a community around NFTs, but anyone who loves animation, anime, comics, movies, all that stuff, and include them in this way. And that's where it kind of came to this community side of things. And then that animated universe that we're creating is literally all these animated shorts set in the city of Unicornitopia, whether it's in Rainbowopolis, in the outskirts of Mythigan, or underneath the city in the heart of the planet, in the underbelly where all the poor and really depraved and really abandoned people live, who have it the hardest in our world. And we want to tell these little vignette stories. And then our animators get to choose their favorite NFT characters from the collection and throw them into that world. Since they're already in Toon Army and they're ready to animate, we will internally voice them as our team, or if we do giveaways for our contest, maybe our NFT holders can voice them, and we'll create these skits about a day in the life of the city, or a heist, or all these fun things that these characters can do. Maybe the characters, maybe the NFT characters who are all wearing like the leprechaun hat, or having like a party for Leprechaun Day or something, right? Leprechaun Day, or maybe the Mall Wizard is throwing a party or something. We want to find cool, creative ways to do skits and tell stories and involve the community like that. And it'll all be done through our NFT community on Discord. So make sure you join our Discord family. Talk to us directly. We are there. We are real people there talking to you about our ideas.
We want to hear your ideas. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of things we're going to be doing in the future that we don't even know yet because you haven't pitched it to us yet. So what do you think is a cool idea to get involved in an NFT project? Because likely we're going to say yeah, because we want to do all the awesome stuff with you. So.
Exactly. And with that, of course, comes with that one dedicated day a week where our entire team, and we're looking to hire a ton of animators and artists as we grow, our entire team takes one day a week to work on fun stuff, these animated shorts, where the team gets to brainstorm and have fun making their own ideas and then developing those ideas with the community. So it really changes the dynamic in our office. It opens up things to help our team learn storytelling and the process and the pipeline and the actual technical aspect of making animation in a very manageable bite-sized short that they have all the assets already made for them to use and kind of kit bash together. So it really comes down to building a community, growing our artists, and making something that's manageable and doable with the community. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's kind of my little pitch on the community there, Mike. What do you think?
I like it. I've heard it before, I think. Maybe.
Only like 120,000 times.
Different iterations.
Yeah.
I missed the free cupcakes though. You didn't include that one this time, and that's kind of like the incentive.
They're in the mail.
They're in the mail. Oh boy, squashed, just squashed.
Iffy mail can even get out of our town right now. We're still trapped in hope from all the floods and the landslides, and it's still like we're still getting a river of rain. Both highways on both sides of our hometown got cut off. For people who don't know, floods and landslides have cut off most of British Columbia from all of Vancouver and all around the Fraser Valley. We've actually housed a bunch of people on our land to help them find a place to stay because they got stranded. We've had show cows come here and stay and wander our land because we're on a horse farm here in just outside of Vancouver.
Yeah, they were pretty cute.
They were pretty damn cute. My mom actually has a new little miniature horse she bought who looks a lot like Flynn, which is hilarious. Yeah. That's kind of keeping all the animals company, which was amazing. Yep. It's been an interesting thing. But yeah, I don't even know if the mail would get out from here right now. I think it might be locked down again from the rain.
Soggy cupcakes.
Yeah.
Soggy cupcakes.
Soggy cupcakes.
There's another curse word in the room. Oh, soggy cupcakes.
Yeah. So Mike, we got another room warm up here. Why don't you take it away this time? You've heard my pitch 100 times. Maybe you can try your version of it. With that, I'm going to take a break.
Yeah.
You really want to make sure you're doing it right.
Doing it right.
Oh, the way I do it is I'm about to. Now that song stuck in my head. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I went from Tenacious D to this. Okay, so Daft Punk, man. Okay, so man, we have covered a lot in this stream.
A lot. We're at like 2:45 right now, coming up on 3 hours.
Yeah. That was the goal though. Like 3 was the goal. So we're really on time. Even with surprises.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. We planned for that. Yeah. Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah, so just a quick room reset for people that are now joining us. We're Twitch Pixel. We just dropped our NFTs, and it's Jeff's birthday at the same time.
Yeah.
And we had Erik Braa on earlier, who was the voice of Draven. We made an announcement that that he's going to be joining on as our main character, Mosley Flynn, and he did a few warm-ups. If you go through the video and you see him, you'll find where he does it. It's really fun. I can't wait to see him and in action. I mean, I have this 4-second clip that Jeff made with the bleep outs, right? But however, really, we just want to thank people for being like the community that we've grown. Grassroots has been wonderful, and super kind and supportive, and like always calling us wholesome, and like. I like being called wholesome. I like it. I don't know what you guys.
Shout out to Holiday B too. They posted a really heartfelt message to me and Nat the other day about how it's been awesome to watch us grow as an artist over the past 6 months, even just before when we first started this community into where we are now. And I got weepy, and I even sent him an immediate video on my phone, be like, "Thank you," to the community, because we do.
That's the kind of communication that we need.
Yeah. And I'm all about transparency, putting my face up there. I'm taking a risk here because I believe in our project. I believe in our idea, and I don't care.
But that's been you. That's been you all the way through.
It's true.
And
I don't shelve an idea. If I develop an idea and it doesn't get anywhere, I don't shelve it and forget about it. It's in my back
you put
pocket.
it on the shelf and you'll pull it out when you're ready to reread that volume. You know what I mean?
Right. I whipped out my unicorn dick on purpose, guys.
Yes.
It was intentional. I took an idea and I said,
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it. Hit the floor. Yeah.
Put that into my sock right here. Sorry.
Visual. Oh boy.
So I'm going to throw up some more awesome stuff here for people to see about what we're working on our project.
Yeah.
This here is Cornhole and Cornelius and Flynn hanging out, tied to a rope as they usually are. Hanging out.
How did they get in that predicament?
Oh, they get there. So this is we're working on a trailer right now because we want to show the whole world kind of what our show is about, a bit about our world. But I'm just going to go through the working file that we built so far with a bunch of the assets to show off Natalie's environments that she's been building. I gotta say a huge shout out to Nat for this specific reason is that she had never worked in 3D before now, and she's working in this weird 2D, 3D hybrid space in Toon Boom to develop these sets, and they are amazing in my opinion.
Awesome.
They're exactly how I pictured the world. I couldn't articulate it, and she took it and ran with it, and we ended up with these amazing things. So what we got here right now is just a little awesome kind of short animation with Flynn and Cornelius. I'll just kind of go up here and scroll through. Right? So I'll play that through here in a second. Let me grab here to here. I'll just stop it right there. And this is awesome. So this is the first area that Natalie actually drew for one of our sets. She had a very little feedback from me at first. I said, just draw something. And she's like, okay. And she drew this. And she basically nailed the style right away. So that's a little snippet of animation. So let's jump back to the beginning here. And Nat, why don't you kind of explain a little here about how you went from drawing flat in 2D to building these entirely 3D sets and how that changed how you worked.
Yeah, it was neat because I got to do it in 2D, which is what I was used to, and then I would take it into the perspective plane and flip it all around in every way it can be flipped. And I finally sort of worked it out and made it look like this, which blew my mind because, I mean, look at it. I know it's very simple too. There's only a few planes in this, but I tried
together really great. Yeah,
with some light and shadow
and I mean, with animation, it's very important to kind of keep things streamlined as simple as you can, because again, you don't have an actor who shows up and they have their body and their arms and can move them around for them. You're literally doing everything yourself. You're building the lighting, you're building the textures, the environments, the characters. You're breathing life into the characters, how they move, their stretch, their squash, their anticipation, their pendulum movements that make them feel realistic, and everything. The physics of the world even exists in your mind and then have to be displayed. So
yeah.
It really changed things for us when we could have that depth, especially when zooming in and zooming out and that parallax effect that really give it that strong depth that you just wouldn't have before. You know?
Yeah, I'd find myself just scrolling through and spending too much time. Wee!
We just do this a lot. Oh my God, it's so cool. Oh my God. Yeah, you know. So this was actually your first one, right?
Yeah.
And then you moved on and decided, okay, well, let's step it up a bunch. And then you jumped over to the next shot, which is actually kind of the main shot of the whole trailer, this factory floor. And this I want to actually bring up one important thing before we dive too much into this. This is kind of a concept. We're not committing to the design because the design of Unicorntopia would be much more detailed, but I'm going to pull out over here so you guys can get an idea, and I can explain to you how Unicorntopia works, because this design literally is a representation of Unicorntopia and its outlying districts. So the shining city of Rainbowopolis is right in the middle here. Oops, click off of there. And it is segregated by a giant moat, and it essentially floats in that spot right there. And there's this huge moat all around with bridges that go across to these outlying districts of Mythigan, which are more run down and mistreated and forgotten and decaying than the major city, even though the city itself is still covered in grime. And the city is a sparkling, shining jewel. At the very top of these towers are even spaceports that you can get in spaceships and go to other planets. This world is massive. It's not just about Unicorntopia, but the galaxy around it as well. All the way down to the street level and underneath street level. And then, of course, in this gap where that moat is, under the city is a big hole. The city dumps its garbage into the center of the planet where the underbelly is. An entire, kind of more medieval style city built on the edges of these rivers of sugar that flow through the planet to the two great dragon hearts. And down there, all the depraved people are, all the people who have lost their homes or lost finances and all that kind of stuff are stuck down there. And then, of course, on the outskirts of Mythigan, right here, all this stuff, that is where Unicorn Detective Agency is housed. They live on the surface. They're kind of between the two worlds. They're considered the middle class, even though our middle class is very, very close to poverty. And that kind of gives the idea of how our world is built and the structure is built, and where the sugar barons live, where the most of our characters live in Mythigan, and then beneath in the underbelly where things are a little more hard and kind of more depraved, like I keep saying that word over and over and over again. But Natalie brought this to life for our trailer, and it was the first time she started doing 3D objects like this pipe at the top that comes out with perspective, the box at the bottom, even this little kind of almost cocaine-looking conveyor belt, even though it's
surely not. It's sugar.
It's sugar. It's sugar.
Sugar.
But it's also the first time she started getting that real parallax when she got into the scene, and it really developed like really awesomely for the vision I originally had for it. And if you saw the sketch I gave her, it's almost identical to this. So
this is what I meant by that Rick and Morty vibe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And like even inside this factory, there's like grime and scuds on everything. Even the pipes have a little bit of grime, and like that's really the world and how it is. It's really kind of a dirty. No one's there, you know. Like there's no government paying for beautification of the city. There's no, you know, it's just kind of gross. This was actually the second one you did, right? I think you actually did them in order here.
I did. Yep.
So this next one is a little quick one. It's a quickie. It's a little scene that we're working on right now. There's not much going on. I'm not going to give away too much, but I just wanted to show it off. It's another one that Natalie did. It's a bit simpler, but it's for a really funny scene in our trailer that I can't wait. Mike's seen a bit of the animation we developed for it. I can't show it off because it's too good.
Not yet. Yeah. Did you say the S word?
No.
Nope.
So then we go to this scene here. This is the space station scene. So like I said, the planet of Unicornotopia has the shining city of Rainbowopolis at the center outside of Michigan. And there's spaceports at the top of these buildings, and you can go to other planets to the space station outside of it. The heart-shaped planet itself has these rainbow rings that go around it, and there'll be stories around that. And the rainbow rings are actually myth and legend that the original great herd of unicorns that seeded this universe turned into each color of the rainbow rings, and that's where they look over the city of Unicornotopia now and watch them from afar. And so outside of the city, you can get up to space, and that's where this kind of came into place. And Natalie started building the space station scene, and this one will be a bit of fun one too, because I wanted Unicornotopia and Unicorn Dick to have sci-fi elements, fantasy elements, contemporary elements, detective noir elements, so that any story we want to tell here, as absurd as it might seem, can still fit. And that's where it came to the space station scene to kind of open up everyone to, oh, okay, this world is bigger than just the planet of Unicornotopia. It's much larger than that. And I love what she did here. And she started getting into the depth, even with the props. Like this is technically still a flat plane at the front with those cables hanging down, but they still extend into the puddle that she drew on the floor. And then this is what I meant. Like you've never done 3D before, right?
No.
Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, never did anything like it. I never thought I'd branch out into it either. I was like, oh, I love 2D. 2D is what I understand. And Jeff knows it's hard to pull me out of what I'm comfortable with. But I'm glad he does, because obviously that's how you grow. You got to get out of your comfort zone. So I finally learned how to figure this out, and here we go. Every single scene that we flip through, I get a little bit better, and it always makes me want to go back to the first one and upgrade it a little bit. You can't fuss with that.
Always is critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? I wonder, could that be a typical artist thing where we, nothing's ever perfect?
Yeah. Yeah, but I really like this one. I love the planet, the way I've got it opening up like that, the bits coming out of it. And
there'll be like a force field flickering here as Flynn and
we
Flynn.
need to have the Unity 1 ship like way off in the distance.
Oh, no, not bad. That's a good little Easter egg, actually. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Then this one took Nat to, excuse me. Whew. Cool. Yeah. Then Nat went to the next shot, and I can see why she wishes she could go back after drawing these after she's done it, because she blew this one out of the park. I asked, I need something that looks like an Indiana Jones cave. She said, okay, here.
Yeah, and as detailed as this looks at first glance, I still see areas that I wish I could add more detail in.
But look how much detail she went into. Look at the
water.
Like classic Monty Python. Look at the bones. But like the waterfall, the puddle, this thing on the floor,
lighting is one of the best parts of this.
Yeah, the pedestal with the Polygon emblem or like idol on it, essentially. Is it where's the reset view up here?
Yeah.
So reset view. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Now I can zoom in. Yeah,
because the ivy I really like on there.
Ivy growing up, the hieroglyphs she drew.
Language.
Yeah, and all the detail, and even here, even in a cave, there's all this scuzz and scum everywhere. Hive of scum and villainy, and then of course it's got that depth all the way back to the backdrop where that door is way in the background and the stairway up to it. Like she took it to another level that I didn't originally envision by taking them into this 3D space and blowing it up like this.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so that's everything I'm going to go over today. There's a couple more that I don't want to reveal, but yeah, that's kind of the breakdown now of where we are in our environment building. We have all of our character assets. Like I said, like we want to show this proof of trust. We want to prove to you as an NFT collector, as a cartoon anime fan, that we are making this. We have been making this for 4 years. We have donated our time to it. We have every part of our being invested into this. There's no... if I walked away and tried to rug pull here, I'd be losing my entire life. And so I really want people to understand, go watch our live streams. Go watch us working on this. See Natalie doing the animatic for Unicorn Dig. See how far we've come. And understand, and reach out to us on Discord. If you want to meet us as people, come talk to us. We are happy to answer any questions about our world, our show, our NFTs, our growth, our ideas, like the blockchain in general. I just talk news and nerdy stuff with us. Talk anime and comics and graphic
talk
novels.
nerdy to us.
Yeah, talk nerdy. I play D&D. I love anime and Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop, Akira, like all the old school stuff. I played World of Warcraft growing up. I'm a musician. I play guitar, I play bass. Natalie's an artist who does oil painting and watercolor and acrylic and she's an amazing pencil crown artist too, amazingly. Like, there's all of these avenues that we are passionate about that kind of play into this idea, and we want people to be a part of it with us.
And our style varies too with the artists that we do as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, real quick, just for instance.
Yeah, let's throw Mike up here and show. Right, you were working on your own show for us. So yeah, this is actually a great segue. Mike, like I said, as our team internally, we want to encourage our artists to come up with their own ideas that we can help them grow an audience around. And if we show, if the audience shows that they're interested in this idea, we will help them produce it. And if it's not us producing it, we will help them get it sold, because we care more about the artist succeeding, because it's in our favor anyways. And we want to see their ideas grow. So Mike, why don't you take it away and kind of talk about what you're working on here?
So in the same respect that that Jeff is working on his meta, or his, I wouldn't say the metaverse, I would say like the
animated universe.
The animated universe. All the stories that I'm working on, 2 stories that are in the same universe but on different sides of this planet. This is Gal. He's part of a race of people that are polymorphs. It's their type of magic. So as you see here, he's transforming his arm, stuff like that. And I try to get like, ever since working with Jeff, I try to get kind of like a capture of what would it look like one frame of animation from it, like give it some movement. And this happens to be my style. I like to keep it pretty like desaturized. It's just my style. But this is the main character, Gal. Here's another poster of him casting different types of magic. Let's see here. This is his great grandfather, Apira. I was gonna have Erik voice him. This guy is so fun to draw. He's just like, his mouth is just like a big mug, and he has no irises. He's just a big, deep, big brawly dude. And it's just fun. And these guys are a duo called Brains and Brawn. If you can't tell, Brains right here and Brawn. And originally this was a show, Bastion, and I wanted to do something just for it. But as I did it, like, this is the same kind of world that I'm building for Zavis, which is the sci-fi show that I'm building. So I actually wanted these guys to interact, because the personalities that I've made for these guys.
Zoom in a bit too.
Here.
Yeah. I gotta say, I love the berserk vibe you had going when you started drawing these with your color outlines, which stepped it away from berserk and made it super unique.
Yeah, it was really fun with the blondie here. Is like, it just glows a shine. Rather, this is more like, anger and stuff like. Let's see. I think the next slide is So this is Braun.
That spawn
up. It's basically it's his blood aura. So just again wanted to capture like one frame of animation. I think I even put like a Gaussian blur just a little bit on this to make it look like it was for screen, just to give a visual idea of where I wanted to go. And I think the next one is this is Brains. He's a long range. he's the tactician, right? So I wanted to capture that, and they take on animalistic traits when they power up. So this was more of like a cheetah, and this guy was more of like a gorilla. And he also with the ear extensions here, just to kind of give it a primal vibe. Let's see here. Go to the next one. Oh, okay. So this is Artees. This is Gal's brother, and he becomes kind of a bad guy. He gets possessed and ends up looking like this, which I had different iterations, but.
I remember you just concepting this on our first, like a couple of our first live streams.
Yeah. And I liked the overall color palette that I went with the light outlines on the dark gray. It just gave it like, I don't know, like it gave it more of a rock solid feel. Like I wanted something that was obviously metal, and hard surface, so hard angles, and then something dark. And you see that in also the enemy robots that you encounter, the Clarion robots. They're like the advanced level race. I love this
guy's head. Get in on there.
I know. Yeah.
Reminds me of Helper from Venture Brothers.
Yeah, it's super simple, and they're kind of like the police of the world that I've created. And these are surrogates. They aren't actually them at all, and you don't get to see.
They're piloted elsewhere, right?
They're just remote controlled, right? So they stay in this giant up in the mountains at the very tip of the world, and they stay there and they police the world outside of it. They don't really control it. They stop people from expanding to a certain point, right? Similar to how Reapers in Mass Effect. And then you have kind of like a captain thing, and I wanted to play with like mobility and the visual of you don't see his lower body, but you have kind of like
footprints still down there,
holographic footprints, and like what could I do with that in action scenes? So exploring the sci-fi element has been really fun for me. I think I have Gal's turnaround I'm still working on here. So I have the full head turnaround. I'm just getting his features, his stance, that type of thing. I wanted something lax but add attention. You know, he could spring to life at any moment. And let's see here. I think I can just do this, and it will. Yeah, there we go. So like, this is how I've gotten this head so far. I didn't start with the 3/4. I started with this profile and was like, this is it. This is the one. It just sometimes it strikes you that way, right? And so, you know, you've been helping me a lot with getting used to turnarounds, like where the line
keeping your volumes, keeping across the line work.
Yeah, and it really works. It really works well. So yeah, that's a little bit of the stuff that I'm working on, and I can't wait to get my pitch finally together. So
and so like I said before, as a studio, we want to encourage our artists internally. So I actually help these people build their pitch Bibles, build them up to be approaching places like Netflix and Amazon to help them get there. And like, even if they don't produce through us, we help them grow it and get the audience and build the idea. So it becomes this kind of like this family of artists helping a studio make its main series. But on the flip side, the studio's paying it back. We're paying it forward. We have the success, we have the clout, we have the ability to do more. So we should pay it forward to them. Like, I think that in any industry, even in the NFT space, the successful NFT collections should go back and pay it forward to the smaller guys and try to help them forward. And that's the approach we take in everything we do at Twitch Pixel. So I'm gonna take back control here with my stuff. I want to actually screen share some of our older stuff. Some of the Lost Hope rigs and everything. I want to start here with our OpenSea collection. This is more of the one-on-one stuff we originally tried launching with before we knew anything about NFTs. They are still up there. We will still eventually bring these out for release for people, but you can check my OpenSea out and look at all of these if you want. But I kind of first wanted to show off what we've done and where we've come, because what we originally minted were the one-on-one concept arts and pieces and character turnarounds of our shows that fans could own in order to support us. And so the first one that we have here is obviously Unicorn Dick Investigations, right? So what we see here is a bunch of the characters and art and rigs that we've built. Oh, let me find that again. I lost it. That's the one that's live, right? Yeah. Okay. And as we go down here, you can start seeing all the different characters I talked about. Like, here we go. This is a good one. Here's that high stakes guy right there I was talking about that I drew. You know, strainer danger, where it's like a strainer chasing a piece of broccoli and a cucumber. You know, a tuning fork, a fork playing guitar, trying to tune it right. You know, things like that. A board game chilling on a couch with his two dice buddies who are really bored. You know, funny stuff like Sucker Punch up the top there, Sickle and Hammered here. You know, lots of visual puns and bad humor that accent the world by just being present as Easter eggs while they fill out the world as characters in this depraved city. That's one of the cool ones. But the other stuff that we offered too were these full character turnarounds. And this is where I mean, we're ready to make this. Like even our side characters, we have our little avocado character. We've got the Citizen Kane, Candy Cane character. He's a full turnaround, ready to go as well. If it'll load. I hope it'll load. Hope and see it slow sometimes.
Anticipate.
Exactly.
No, Discord's all like, screw you. Cornhole's got his turnaround. Like every single one of these characters is a full animated turnaround. Jelly Killilla, yeah. We got Dirt Bentley. We got all our main characters. We got a bunch of our side characters. We got Flick in his natural form, you know. And all of this comes into that. Look, we're here doing real work, you know, making real cartoons, and we want you guys to see that. We want to be as transparent as possible. Here's the heart-shaped planet, by the way, as I was speaking to before. So this is the planet that the two dragon hearts encompass their daughter in the center of Imaginatia, who spewed forth the imaginated universe where all of our shows exist. And over time, this crust formed around the hearts to keep them safe, and land masses formed, and water formed, and the city in the middle, like a big butthole, is Unicornitopia, and Mythigan on the outskirts with the rainbow rings that circle the planet of the first great herd that turned into the rainbow wings to watch over the world.
And this is Jeff's original art, by the way. He did this.
Yep.
It is amazing.
Thank you, hon. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is one of my first ones I concepted my own world for. So I said, like the whole unicorn dick. I mean, I first time I sat down and concepted the whole world out visually myself, and then had Nat take those ideas and blow them up into way better drawings. On top of that, we got all of our different classes of people. For instance, the Candies, who are at the very top of the echelon, who run the city and control everything, down to the less fortunate of the discarded, lost items, even from our world, that get sucked into the ether, like your lost sock or that paperclip you lost or that rotten apple you threw away. They end up somehow in this universe, and life is breathed into them, and they become these characters that exist here too. And then, of course, we've got the elementals, which are typical like D&D elementals, like the fire, the air, wind, earth, and stone, you know, stuff like that. But they live their regular lives in this city, just trying to get by like everybody else. We got the edibles, which are all the food-based characters that come into the world, that come to life, like the mayo can dressed like a horse for mayonnaise. You know, the coffee mug, the strainer danger, happy sandwich. Of course, then we have the mythicals, which are more of our fantasy side instead of the sci-fi, where it's got like, you know, the timber creature and the minotaur and the snake wizard and the dragon wing, you know, things like that. And of course, all of our main characters, like I said, with their full turnarounds that are ready to go, all coming towards Unicorn Dick Investigations. And there's the old logo. Look at that. That's the old flat logo I drew. And then the new one that Natalie did is just so much better. But yeah, it goes to show how she takes something I create and just puts an extra layer of stank on it, you know? So, Unicorn Detective Agency. However, that's not all we've done. We also, like I said, our first project that Mike first met us on is Lost Hope. And this is that animated sci-fi of smattering of Archer smashed with X-Files and Battlestar Galactica about the end of the world and the gray aliens from Roswell and all that kind of stuff. And here I can prove, okay, look, we actually made all our character turnarounds, fully ready to go with all the heads for every angle. This is our main character, Clara Hope. She's a full rig ready to go for animation. With that, of course, we have Dawson Connor, played by Vince Casso, who's an amazing actor. And he's kind of like our Archer, also our Archer-esque kind of character. Kind of comic book Comic-Con nerd who gets swept up into this galactic thing thinking it's the coolest shit ever, even though it's the end of the world. He's still raving about how awesome it is, even though the planet. Of course, have our poster, which looks freaking amazing. This is a montage. One of Nat's first montage posters she did for Last Hope. That outlines all of our characters, kind of their style and their mood and stuff like that. And like every single character is here too. We got Marcelo Carlos, played by our good friend and one of our artists on our team for Unicorn Dick, Michael Allen. We've got another character that actually Vince Castro plays, our resident crazy doctor, Doc Tanner, Doc Tanner Brown. We have Claudia Fitzsimmons, played by the most awesome Marisha Ray from Critical Role. Yeah. She brings our LGBT character to life. We also have, of course, Captain Reiner, who's voiced other than Aeolus from the popular Hercules and Xena by Sam Raimi, also the creator of Evil Dead and Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness being my favorite movie of all time. Bruce Campbell, if you see this, I want to work with you one day. You're my hero. And of course, Michael Hurst, who played Aeolus in Hercules and Xena. He's a Shakespearean actor, and he really brought this man to life. He's from the 50s in the Roswell era, cryogenically frozen, brought to the future. Still has all his bigotry and his racism and his sexism still ingrained in him that he has to kind of learn his way out of in this new world he's been thrown into, and he nailed the role. All of our character rigs for that show are done as well as our storyboards for the first episode. I have actually scripted the full first season, fully scripted, and it's my passion project. I want to make this down the road where we have more clout and a little more resources under our feet, but it's just another one of those proof of concepts, proof of trust we can show you that we are here making these ideas start to finish. Then we have Unity 1. Now, this is kind of an exciting project for me because, as Mike is probably sick of hearing, I got to work with David Hayter, my hero, the voice of Solid Snake from Metal Gear, writer of X-Men 1 and 2 and the Watchmen movie, currently on Netflix, right, with Warrior Nun, and doing tons of stuff in the industry. And he's co-writing this with me. Me and him I went to his house in LA. We hung out. I played his VR. Yeah, it was awesome. He's really awesome. He's an amazing human being. He's also Canadian as well. So he's supporting us as a Canadian company. And we developed this Unity 1 idea, which is kind of BoJack Horseman in space, where it's like a kind of a deep mental anguish kind of character thrown through the loop through all the absurdity of sci-fi anomalies and different races, all with these animals. And essentially what happened was humanity left Earth, and when we returned and found Earth shattered and gone, basically, all the animals that we left behind on Earth had evolved and become their own species. So you got the dogs and the cats always at heads with each other. We have all these different other races like the whale, the aquatics, and all of that. And they started filling out this world of absurdity, including all of our character rigs. Like I said, again, we've done. Here's some of our costume concepts for our main characters. This is our main bridge crew. John Kirkland, Captain North, played by David Hayter. We got Lori Blueear, who Mike actually drew the character model for. We got Tasha Weaver, we got Wolf, son of Mutt, and we got Jackson Russells here. And these are kind of like the absurd races that we have in this. It's another social satire based on like how do races get along? How do we grow to be outside of races being separate and more one unified thing? And that's where Unity 1 comes in, is how does this ship of different species come together on the USS Unity 1 in order to, put aside the differences and solve a big mystery of the galaxy that could destroy them all. And if you look through our page here, again, like Wolf on a Mutt, his whole turnaround, including his heads are there. We got all of our character turnarounds for our main characters, including Lori, that Mike, again, like I said, Mike drew. We got Captain North. We got Jackson Russell, son of Mutt. Got the full character lineup here. And like, again, these will all be sold as one-of-one NFTs down the road from the concept art that we developed as we made these. Owning means you can own a piece of our animation history, essentially. You can also check out our YouTube. And there's a bunch of animation tests for all these characters too. Head turnarounds, talking tests, all that kind of stuff too, right on our YouTube channel. So Twitch Pixel Studios on YouTube. So that's Unity 1. And then the very last project I want to go off is our latest idea. I was always trying to stay away from kids shows because they're a harder beast to sell because you got to worry about the legal side, what you can show and say to kids. And then we came up with this idea of Beat Monsters, where it doesn't matter what they say because they don't speak in English. They speak in their monster language. And they use music and beatboxing and instruments to tell stories, agnostic of borders, agnostic of skin color, agnostic of language. It's for everybody to watch and enjoy, have a lot of fun. And we built these characters to be this posse in a destroyed Earth way in the future. Everything's overgrown. And they're just trying to survive in their own monster way by making music, having fun, and telling moral stories that kids can grow up and enjoy, and even parents can grow up and enjoy. And again, the idea, we built out all of our character rigs and our turnarounds, built out our environments. There's literally thousands of assets that I created for the forests and the trees and the overgrowth and these different sets that Natalie developed, like this old cable car for like a ski resort that one character lives in, and like the old fairground behind them. All the character rounds are built for animation. They're all rigged just like Unicorn Dick. Like I said, we even have these full turnarounds animated that you can buy as full NFTs. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, essentially you can like come here and check out our actual characters spinning around, see all the angles that we drew that allow us to animate them. And that's for the 4 IP that you can check out on twixel.com. And like I said, they're all part of this bigger metaverse we're building around Unicorn Dick's imaginated universe of this baby dragon who imaginated everything, including us in our universe. And that's kind of a breakdown of all the shows.
Yeah.
Whew.
Take a breath.
Right.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're getting pretty close to the end here, my bud.
Yeah.
Yep. If anyone has any questions, pop into the chat.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A right now for if anyone wants to throw questions in the chat, you can reach out to us.
Make us meet, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Mike, just turn your camera back on, bud.
Give me one sec, man.
What you do in private?
Yeah, what are you doing in private over there, buddy?
Nothing. Nothing.
That's right.
I had a cat
on your lap.
Show us your cat.
Show us your pussy hat.
I already did. All right, here we go. Hello.
Nice. Hello. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to hit up us in the chat. Nat's on Discord and Twitter and in the YouTube channel, so feel free. We are just basically going to hang out. Mike, anything you want to kind of talk about? I know you're working on another like LARPing thing too. You want to talk about that?
Oh, the
Sword Style Arts?
So I can talk about Soul Sword Arts. The other thing I'll keep under wraps for now, but
okay.
When it gets closer, I'd love to share. But Soul Sword Arts is who I'm currently working with YouTube wise. My buddy David, I grew up with since we were like 7 years old, and he did some stuff with us on the old channel on Gaming Wildlife, and went on to do combat for stage and for film, and has his master's in that. He's been doing martial arts since he was a child, and he was certified to certify other people in stage combat and choreography, and HEMA certified by the person who choreographed for The Dark Knight. So we as nerds want to bring to life fights and characters that we see in video games, but in a stage combat vibe, like a long shot, rather than with Hollywood now, you cut on action so much in a fight, you can't really. It gets disorienting on what's actually happening. You know, it's just like a cut to the action at hand, rather than like what was the only time you really see the choreography is probably martial arts movies. You know, like that with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, things like that, Hero, etc. So we want to deliver that in a long form and a storytelling element. And then next year we plan to do start filming for Larry the LARPer, which is a show about LARPers and what they see versus reality. So they'll be fighting with sticks, and then it'll jump to them in full armor and gear doing the full choreography, because our guys are trained, and David has been training the team to be able to do this. So anyone that you see fighting with David, he has trained from the ground up to be able to get to there within a year. So I'm doing the music for it. I have a project that Jeff mentioned, that's a Bard project that when closer, I'm super stoked to share. But we'll be doing kind of like a tavern brawl. So I'm super excited to finally like have that come to light. We've been working forward grinding, just nonstop, like content, video, and we told ourselves we'll do one more year of just like straight grinding, and then we can relax because we'll get that subscriber count. And so far it's good. We're almost at 160K from 8K in April. So picking up sponsors, getting our like Volante. Shout out to Volante Design. They make amazing clothing for anywhere from like streetwear to cosplay. And they sponsor us. Well, currently it's a collaboration, but they've sponsored a lot of content with us, and we're very happy with their clothing. It holds up to our choreography, which is always a concern when we're working with any high movement thing. And there are other sponsors we'll love to announce next year when we start our new upgraded content. So yeah, pretty much it. Can't hear you, Jeff. Jeff? Hello?
Maybe I should unmute myself.
Yeah, I was like, that seems like you said something great.
very profound. No, I was just saying it's all about putting your head down and getting that content out there and doing it because you love it, and then the audience comes after that. That's why I love the NFT space, but I know a lot of these projects are just conceptualizing now and releasing like within months of concept, which to me is like, number one, I know why you're trying to rush. You don't want to miss the fall. You want to make some money and do this for a living. Makes perfect sense. But at the same time, it can shoot you in the foot because how can you hold yourself accountable if you don't even know what your roadmap is or game plan is moving forward? So it's good to see projects that bring the content first and then ask for support after. Knowing like that's the route we've always taken. That's the route we will always take. Thus,
we don't really operate on FOMO. I think earlier I had talked to you about. If it's born in FOMO, like it's like the fear of missing out is not a solid state to grow something on. It's a quick gesture. It can be used really well in marketing when you're first starting to get some exclusives or something like that out. But for a whole project, like that's a red flag for me because it's like, how can I miss out if this project is long term?
Yeah, like I can't miss it. Why is there a FOMO around a long-term project? If it intends to be long-term, then I should be able to get in down the road,
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Have you any questions at all?
No questions from the public yet.
No questions. Not many people watching. Okay, that's fine. I expected as much. So I'm going to do one more kind of warm up of the room and then kind of end this stream for the day. This has been our launch. It's been nice and slow. Like we expected this. We were not trying to be a FOMO project that blows up overnight. This is a long-term project. We want to grow with our community. We want people to come vet our project, do their due diligence about us, and get comfortable with us before supporting. So follow us at Twitch Pixel Anim on Twitter. Join our Discord server and talk to me, Mike, and Natalie, Aram, and Casper from Flair. We're all there live. We have been building this idea for 4 years. Go to our YouTube channel that you can see at the bottom of the screen here. Check us out. Watch our hundreds of hours of live stream making this show, building the animatic, making the character rigs, building art for our other shows, building art for our creator, our artists' ideas, growing an audience with you guys, proving our track record to you. We really want to say we're a legit long-term project. We have so much vested into this that we have nowhere to go but forward with it. And we will do this for the next 10 years if we have to make it happen, because I'm passionate about it. These two are passionate about it. And that's just how it's going to work. So as a little wrap up, I'm Jeff Salmon. This is Natalie Harvey. We are the co-founders and lifelong lovers for the last 20 years, creating comics, animation, live action shows like Four Villains on YouTube, Worlds Beyond the Grave Art comic, and now Unicorn Dick, Unity 1, Beat Monsters and Lost Hope. You can watch the trailers for some of them online. You can watch our animatic for Unicorn Dick up right now. And we're trying to create a community-driven, NFT-powered animated universe where we make our main show. Around that show, we have an extended universe of animated shorts where your NFTs fully come to life, voice acted in, that you help our team create the story for and the skits for that are basically vignettes of a day in the life in our city of Unicornitopia around our main show. So that when we release our shorts or our main show for free to the public, we can all boost our show, get a bigger audience, and make your NFTs more valuable. So let's find a way to work together and make these cartoons with each other. And really follow us around the web. Like I said, links at the bottom of the screen to check us out. Make sure you vet us, do your due diligence, find out about us, talk to us directly, get comfortable with us, because we're here for the long haul and we can prove it.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add to that, Mike?
Proving it. Been
That's
proving
right.
it.
You've been proving it. That's right.
That's it, man. I'm happy to see like all my good friends, seeing Erik and seeing you guys hop on. That was really cool.
And another quick note for anyone coming at the end of the stream here, if you didn't know, we did a big announcement today for 2 things. Number 1, Erik Braa from League of Legends, Draven and Jax from League of Legends. He's been in World of Warcraft, Spellforce 3, Clarion, Dawn, Ori, Lila Wisps. He's been in, go to his IMDb page and it's like just hundreds of credits. He's coming on as our main character, Mosley Flynn. He's got a prolific voice. If you jump back to the beginning of our stream when he was here, you can hear him do some of it. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Through that, I have connections in the animation world. I worked on Harmon Quest by Dan Harmon, his other show outside of Rick and Morty. It's basically Whose Line Is It Anyway, smashed with Rick and Morty, smashed with Dungeons and Dragons, where every time that they're on stage live playing D&D, that they talk as their characters, it cuts to animated versions of them. I animated all in season 2 of that. I got to work closely with the Rick and Morty team. We have some clout there. We're also working with David Hayter, voice of Solid Snake from Metal Gear, who made Watchmen, X-Men 1 and 2, Warrior Nun on Netflix he's writing for now. He's writing Unity 1 with us. We're also making Beat Monsters. We're making Unicorn Dick. We're making Lost Hope, which you can watch the trailer on our YouTube channel. We're making Unity 1 and, of course, Unicorn Dick Investigations with our community. And the second part of that announcement is all those shows I just mentioned are part of a greater metaverse we're creating internally at Twitch Pixel, the Twitch Pixel metaverse, where it all starts from these 2 great dragons, Ordo and KO, at the beginning of time, everything. We had a child baby dragon named Imaginatia, imaginated our entire universe. And it includes the universe we live in as real people, Jeff and Nat and Mike, down to our other cartoon shows, the space shows, the contemporary shows, the kids shows, Unicorn Dick. And of course, we want to bring all this information and all these characters into the greater expanded metaverse that's growing through blockchain, through Polygon, through Ethereum, and through all these NFT games that are coming out. So we're more than just an animation studio. We're trying to do something completely unique with animation to grow animation into a new space and still work with the traditional space. We have long-term project goals. We have other shows we want to make projects and NFT projects out of. We are literally here for the community to make something with the community, like 100%.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom.
Do you have a mic that you could drop? Yeah, okay, there you go.
I can't pick you up.
Wait,
You're
yeah.
over there. I
Wait,
can't pick
wait,
you up and
wait,
drop
like,
you, Mike.
Reach over to the camera. Hang on. Let's see,
Just
over
stand
here.
up.
Just-
Yeah, stand
Yeah.
up. I'm
Yeah.
gonna lift you up and
Yeah.
drop. There we go. Mic drop. So everyone, thank you for joining us. Natalie, do you have any
Yes.
comments?
No, that was amazing. Thank you to everybody who stuck around for the whole 3.5 hours. That was amazing. Yeah, I hope to see you all on the channel. Big love.
Follow us on Twitter. Hit up that Discord. Twitchpixel.com to learn about our
Be sure to
studio.
like, comment, and subscribe.
That's right. Twitchpixel.com to learn about our studio. Twitchpixel.com/UDA to learn about Unicorn Dick Investigation specifically. You can find the link to minting for us there. You can find hours of our live streams there. You can watch our teaser trailer and animatic there. Spread the word. Join our community. Tell your friends and family. Buy them some NFTs if you have to, if they're not comfortable. Support our animated universe, and we'll make it with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Lots of love to our Discord community, too. Everyone that's been there, you guys have been amazing. Big shout out to like Slump, Arbsterdam, Honey, Holiday B, Danny One, Artifact,
Danny 2 and Danny 3.
That's right. That's right. Literally everybody who's been there chatting in our Discord, supporting us the whole time. You guys have been ballers. So huge shout out. Join our Discord, get OG roll. You can get pre-sale till the 5th. We are doing a public launch on the 5th. We'll do another one of these live streams, everybody. We'll go over all of this content again with you then. So get in early, own a piece of animation history, and we will see you guys in the Twitch Pixel universe and Unicornitopia, bitches. Lots of love. Bye, Mike. Bye, community. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Holding it out. Keep smiling.